Hello, one and all. We are back for some more AOE Sports, the AAOL. It is Season 13, Stage 2, Week 2, and we've got some really amazing games put together for you. My name's Opara, as you may very well know, and joined with me is Pap.
G'day everybody, and I'm so happy that AAOL is back on its feet with the production coming at you with a couple of matches tonight. First off, what is AAOL if you've just joined in? AAOL is a 10-week tournament split into 2 stages. Each stage is a 5-week round robin, and we are the largest OCE Overwatch tourney with at least 50 plus teams. We're into our 13th season, and you can sign up as an individual or as a team. If any of that interests you, make sure to head down below the stream and join our Discord, and also go to our website. Apara.
Yeah.
We have some very exciting matchups tonight. We have All-Star Orion versus Ace Jokers, and then later, after a bit of a break, we'll come back with Valhalla versus Mad Hatters.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun on our hands tonight. Just so everyone is aware, the map pool for tonight for both of our matches, we're going to be starting off on Ilios, and then we're going to move into a choice between Hollywood or Blizzard World. After that, we've got Dorado or Havana. If we need it, we'll jump into Anubis or Volskaya. And then finally on the board, it looks like we have Oasis. If we need a tiebreaker, we will jump to Lijiang as well, just in case.
Okay, let's jump into the first team of the night. Will be Orion, All-Stars Orion, with the manager of Nessie and Gaz. The captain would be Squid or SQWD. We're not really sure. And then coaching this team is Gaz and Domo. So for the tank lineup, you've got Squid and then Galileo as well. I'm sorry, I have lost everything. Hang on a second. They are... Right. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Anyway, moving on. We've got Sad Overwatch on the hit scan DPS, and then bringing up would be Web with the flex. And then keeping everybody alive in those backlines will be Scarlet on the main support and Rose on the flex. A little bit about these guys. They used to be All-Star Hercules. When it comes to shot calling, most of us talk quite a lot, and often they unrelated conversations at the start of each match. Good to see the communications right up there, Apara. Yeah, their players have interesting backgrounds, ranging from coding all the way to a psychologist. There you go. See, that would help keep the spirit up and alive, right, Apara, even when they're down.
Absolutely.
You got,
good mental boom fixing.
Yeah. Do you want to sit down and do you want to talk about it? What are you feeling?
Yeah.
I'm sensing tension.
Right now?
Why did you say that? Anyway, and most importantly, we are together to have a great experience and to just have fun. They personally love this about them and look forward to each and every challenge and matchup, and they certainly will have quite a matchup ahead of them.
Yeah. Their enemies for tonight are the Ace Jokers. The Jokers have the wonderful manager of Gat, and their captain is Sweat. Their tank lineup for today, main tank is Gat, and off tank is Goose, which Gat and Goose, they're going to be a gunning duo right here for those tanks. And then on top of that, their hit scan DPS is looking at Sweat, and flex DPS is Squelch, which they're really loving these alliterations right now. The GG for the tanks, the SS for the DPS. Unfortunately, the support don't follow up. They've just got some bees and eggs, which is not my kind of breakfast, but we'll make it work. So that is going to be their lineup for today. A little bit of info about the Jokers is their previous team, TDE Mums, having a great time, but have been together for about a year. The current roster has been together for about 7 months, so they've got a bit of longevity going on their side right now. And their latest addition is Bees, who they took from Koala Esports Durf, which our main man S-Dogger might not be too happy about that. And they also like to... Robbed. They also like to claim they have the best logos of OCE, which, you know what? That's a great skill and quality to have. I think a logo is halfway to being a top tier team. So,
Well, it's half the battle, right?
yeah,
It really
absolutely.
helps to lift the team morale. I've got a good logo. That means I can play. There is a little bit of unfortunately, someone in Orion did have to back out a little bit late, so we're just getting a sub in, but we should be able to start pretty much as soon as we're ready, Apara.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun game. A few things to maybe look out for on the side of Orion. We've got Squid. They're known for some really huge Ryan plays. Hopefully, we see some really massive shatters, maybe a little bit of a flank charge, all that typical sort of stuff. On top of that, on Jokers, we've got some risky rip tires. So, love a little bit of chaos going on the Junkrat. So, if we do see Junkrat come out, look out for those rip tires. It's just going to be a lot of fun.
No, indeed. And Gat, pop off, please.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, apparently he told me that if he's in the mood, he does play a pretty mean Reinhardt, but if he's a little bit out of it, then maybe you have to go speak to the psychologist on Ryan. And how did it not being able to swing the hammer quite how you wanted to? How did that make you feel? That made me feel sad. I couldn't squelch the enemy.
Made me feel less of a Ryan. And another potentially interesting thing to look out for is sweat on the Widow, because having a really good Widow is pretty devastating if you're seeing players get picked off one by one. So that could be really interesting to see how this Widowmaker comes in and maybe carries the team.
Oh, exactly. Like a Widow can single-handedly turn a fight with just one pick on a Zen or on the Mercy. Yeah, just the ability to be able to take away a hero in a snap is just so devastating, and they're going to have to play extremely carefully around it. If the Widow is picked out here. A little bit hard, though, on Ilios Apara to get those angles, except Ruins, of course. But, Lighthouse, it's a little bit more divey, a little closer, and especially on Well's kind of hard to get those angles, but it's definitely not impossible. Ruins, though, you can definitely expect the Widow to come out, or at least some long range, maybe Hanzo or Ashe. But... yeah, with these teams, if Gat does want to just stick to the Reinhardt, then we'll probably get maybe a McCree to shut down if there's a potential Tracer coming out from Orion, because I know that the DPS are very good at those kind of heroes. You've also got perhaps a Widow on the other side with a Widow 1v1 duel take place.
Yeah, Sad versus Sweat could be a really good time. The other thing we should talk about, so we said Webb was going to be Orion's DPS player, but it looks like Synergy is the one that's maybe coming in? We're not...
No. Nope.
No, not
Chat
happening.
says Synergy can't sub, that's an F.
Nope, there we go. Nope, absolutely not. Never mind. I see them hanging up, but then they say they can't. That is understandable. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see with one DPS down, having that sub come in. What
just 6v5? Let's go.
You know what I mean? Like, not having your standard DPS coming through. We might move to a little bit of early Overwatch 2. Who knows? We can make it happen, I'm sure.
Yeah, I reckon. Easy done. I'm having a look now at... Oh, hang on. Notification. It's all fixed apparently, and we'll get the team in as quick... the player in as quickly as we can. I'm just having a really quick look at the past results that Joker's got here. If I can flippity-floppity find them. Here we go. So they were in Div 8. They've moved up a div to Div 7 now, and that's probably because they did so well, Apara, in Div 8. They came second with only dropping a total of like 5 maps, which is really, really good. They only have 1 loss to their name as well, and they've been together for so long that, the communication would be top-notch, and they'll know sort of what comps they want to run.
Yeah, that's going to be really, really helpful for them. Just a little bit of info for you, Pap. You may not see this, but chat has decided that Jokers are the team to win it right now. Our poll that we ran, Jokers got the highest amount of votes. So let's see whether chat can get this correct and carry that prediction through.
Carry that prediction. Well, I talked to Bees earlier today and they said expect a really tight matchup right to the end. So we're in for a really big treat here as they have selected their heroes. Orion going for the Orisa Hog, so the pull and hook combo, and then Sad and Rose will be together forever up in the air shooting down those rockets. On the other side, Sweat has gone the Widow, and I think that's obviously they can't see what each other are playing, but up against Sad they'll definitely have their work cut out for them. Then you'll have in the backline you've got Squelch on the Sombra looking for those hacks, possibly onto the Hog and just getting as much ult charge as possible. And finally the tanks will be Gat and Loose Goose on the dive.
Gosh, this DPS lineup is going to be pretty scary for Galileo right now. Having a Widow and a Sombra basically denies any sort of flying that you could even think of here. We got Gat looking at Galileo right now, gets the bubble down so the rest of the team can kind of continue on this path and getting in behind the tanks. And a huge anti-nade makes it really hard for Squid and Synergy to stay alive. A huge jump by Gat. Loose Goose is demixed, but Sweet actually does take out Galileo. The kills are coming in on both sides, and the rest on the Galileo is going to be good right now. Gat and Bees both getting a double boot there. What a play, and that is just going to confirm it for Jokers.
Beautiful rotation as well. I thought that was really stellar from Jokers there, just out-rotating the... Oh, Sweat, that was brutal. It was just out of spawn. Calm down. that sends Squid all the way back. Anyway, what I was going to say is I think that rotation just won them that fight because, you couldn't have Synergy get those big hooks because he didn't really have room to maneuver himself. And Sad, yes, he got to kind of set up the turret, but it didn't really last that long and get much value at all, especially when Gat and Loose Goose dove. And then, of course, Eggs with Legs, like you pointed out, that anti was massive.
Yeah, huge anti-nade. Let's see if they can get another one right now. Loose Goose just goes jumping up. Gat joins in, finishing off Galileo, trying to make the Widow swap to match Sweat, but right now with these tanks, the dive is going to make it really difficult. Another really good nade goes onto Sad, and Sad is feeling sad right now with a little bit of a primal rage up in their face. That's going to take them out of the fight. Squid feeling the heat too, as Squelch comes in for the finisher there. Sweat is absolutely destroying on the Widow. That's just another really good coordinated dive.
Really, really well coordinated, and they barely had to use many ults other than Gat. You've got EMP coming into next fight and both support ults. On the other side, though, you do have both supports. Galileo has switched off the Widow, kind of given up on that one and just gone for the more defensive protection of the McCree just for the stuns. Sad has only stayed the Torbjorn. It's good. It's a good Reaper sort of shotgun up close, but you've also got the turret.
Oh, Molten Core comes out by Sad. That's going to put a lot of pressure on that payload. But but with an EMP coming out, maybe it's not going to matter. Beast does get a boot, but Galileo and Sad are getting the kills now. Now it's looking a little bit more faithful for Orion as they do manage to finish off Gat. And with that, it's just going to be a cap.
Yeah, they lost a lot of pressure early into that fight. They lost Sweat pretty much immediately. That's a nice late pick as well with Eggs on Legs. So Galileo already halfway to his high noon, only just switched. Very, very good pick, clearly. But they didn't have to use many ults. Jokers, they kind of just let them have it. I mean, they lost Sweat so early on. You can really come back with a nano, possibly get it on Gat. Sights have been popped. They can now see Orion.
Oh, Galileo is trying to hide around the corner, but because of the Widow sights coming out, you cannot hide there. That's going to make it really hard to try and get some flanks. With that primal rage going through, absolutely devastating with the nano. That's going to make a lot of damage come through onto Galileo. Galileo getting pushed in a corner right now. But meanwhile, on point, we see Cosmic and Rose just keeping each other alive to make sure that push doesn't happen. And with how split it was, they didn't really manage to get much.
No, that's exactly. They were so split up. You had Gat in the backline trying his best to get anything out of it. but it left Eggs with Legs super duper vulnerable, and because of that, Squid took advantage. Now it's kind of flipped in the way of ultimates. Orion, they have so many now to fall back on. Only Sad, who has switched off that 12 on after Molten Core on point, just to annoy Eggs with Legs even more. You're really relying on this EMP that Squelch has been building up to. If you can just take away their ultimates that they have so many of. Here comes the dive with the bomb. Doesn't pick anything up.
Yeah, self-destruct doesn't connect onto much. What a beautiful ult to use, though, just to slow down the push. Sad does take that anti-nade to the face, and so has to play a little bit safe. Deadeye comes out, but Sweat takes down Galileo during it, and now the kills are going in the favor of Jokers. A little bit of bubble hugging right there. That's a beautiful double boop. She is just rolling right now with these boops. Self-destruct to try and stop anyone approaching with Synergy and Sad now really trying to stall out. They do get the 99%, but this point is probably going to tick over. It's just a last-minute stall now. They do get the cap. 4 seconds left. I don't think this is going to happen here for the side of Orion. They desperately need a touch. Galileo gets on, and now Cosmic, she's just trying but can't get anything. Sweat pops the Deadeye, and that is going to be the first point going to Jokers.
She did such a great job with those boots into the well. I think, what, 5 environmental kills, I believe? Although I think 2 of them wouldn't have counted because Gat definitely helped with a jump that always boots them away and boots a couple of players into the well, in fact. Yeah, that was, I mean, they didn't even have to use EMP there. The beat was enough to sustain, even though they lost Eggs with Legs early into that fight. I think, losing Sad really early, as well as I think some of the healers of Orion also fell. Of course, you have Sweat and Galileo on the ruins. Will be going at it with the Widow 1v1. Squelch will be as well going against Sad. So we've got a couple of the same DPS matchups here. The only difference really will be the healers. You've got Bees just to protect Eggs with Legs that little bit more with that shield bash, whereas Cosmic, they're really opting for that more immortality field aggressive dive with the Mercy.
Having that res is really going to come in handy for Orion right now. Being able to bring back a team player is so helpful, but Sweat taking out Sad quickly. The res is going to go so fast. I don't even know if Rose is going to be able to with Squelch just getting up close and personal here. The point is slowly actually going the way of Orion, though. They did manage to get that point pressure early on. Squelch now getting aggressive onto the back line here, and with Galileo being pushed by Loose Goose as well. And it's really anyone's fight. Cosmic does take out Squelch. Gat jumps onto Squid. This is looking good either way, but I mean, this is such a prolonged fight. You don't really know who's going to take it. Right now, it's looking really good for Jokers.
Bold res. What a bold res.
Incredible by Squid. Onto Squid, sorry. And Squid's getting the kills because of it. This res might actually get them a quick early recap.
It did, and I can't believe that worked. Rose, how did you live? That was such a ballsy res, and it paid off in a monstrous way because of that extra tank, full HP. Galileo as well as Sad worked really well together to put the pressure on, and then Squid was just able to get those last little tickles of electricity onto it. Sights have been popped from both sides here, so it's going to be really risky to move anywhere with both Widows just ready and aiming at your head.
This Widow duel is important, though. Whoever wins it gets so much value in this fight. Squid pops a bit of a primal rage in the background, and another res by Rose means Sad is now back in this fight. Squid's primal was perfect, and now we've got those electric tentacles burning through the supports. Manages to get a good spawn. The combo is Sad. That was beautiful play. That's going to make it that Jokers just cannot push forward.
No, and Eggs with Legs tried with the nano there, but nothing came out of it, and it's getting harder and harder for this Ana to really get much value purely because Sad is flanking so beautifully on that Tracer. A little bit of a dive on the top right. Tank v tank. Gat falls. That is not what you want for Jokers here, Apara. They'll just have to go. There is a bomb just to re-mech at that point, but Sad, what?
What? Oh! Wait a minute.
Wait, what? It might be worth it. Sad does get rezzed up to Apara, and it looks like they will be pushing back in Jokers.
Yeah, this might go in the way of Jokers right now. They need to get a bit more aggressive, but it looks like that's what's happening with a good anti-nade. Sweat takes out Rose, and out comes the primal by Gat. what looked like maybe a mistake by Get at the start managed to get a few lucky picks, and this is now looking really good for Jokers as they do start to flip the point back, and Synergy is all that's left to fend for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, Sad's having a go at taking out Squelch. Oh my gosh, that pick is going to be brutal. Now when Orion push back in, they'll have, you know, that 65 advantage. Also, another thing I want to mention is now they're at 90%. They really only have to get one good tick. That's a really beautiful eat by Loose Goose. That's a hard headshot as well onto Sad. You had a Sad time. Does get rezzed up though. And now you have that monkey in the backline. The Primal Squid. Can you get anybody?
Squid trying his heart out right now, just pushing everyone around, trying to find some kind of value, but the anti-name made it a little bit more difficult. Meanwhile, Synergy and Galileo getting the kills, self-destruct on point just to slow down this fight, and losing Cosmic might be a little bit of value. It's just Goose and Squelch trying to stall out, but Squelch gets stepped on by Squid, and that point is going to go back. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to touch Gat trying. They will get a touch. They had 10 seconds, never mind. They pop the rally just to get on through. A stun onto Galileo straight off the bat. Synergy gets a 5 strike to the face. Oh, Sweet and Bees now really coming through. That last minute stall might be exactly what you need. Squelch taking out Squid. The anti-nade on Cosmic means that they can just get up close and personal. And that flip does come back just on time.
What was that? That was just out of nowhere from Jokers to take that one back. I think that was a really good rally from Bees. I mean, it was last fight territory. It's just pop everything and anything you've ever had. But it just kept Gat alive. And he was just able to swing, able to build up that shadow, which he's so close to already, Apara. Then you've got Squelch now with the bomb, but they're cutting it so close. 99% now to Orion. They just need a good fight. But Rose getting taken down. That's no res, no immortality field. Maybe Squelch does get taken out, but Mercy is the bigger pick.
I think they're just going to call to wait for this Mercy to come back. They need Rose. She's such a critical part of this fight. Oh, but Sad's getting bullied on point right there. Gets the pulse bomb off onto Loose Goose, but doesn't do enough to get any value. Nano comes onto Loose Goose just to keep them alive. The shit from Gat. That's a beautiful one to see. And immortality is all that kept the Orion players alive. But now Squelch is the one taking names right now. These traces are so critical to try win this fight. And Galileo's Death Blossom didn't get anything. The stun from Bees, a shield bash to the face. Loose Goose now just rolling through the remaining players on the point, and this is just devastation as a fire strike finishes Sad, and Sad didn't like that at all. Squid taking a wee little primal nap on point. But that is all that is going to be written as Jokers take our first map.
Galileo took after his ancestral, what do you call people, astrologist? Yeah. When he got taken out, he flew to space. That joke was so stunted. I was trying something, but when he died, he starfished across the map. Here's a really great boot from Bees, by the way. This is the double boop onto the Winston.
There it is.
And Cosmic. Man, that was...
Wow.
That was very well played there by Jokers, being able to grab that one back. They had to hold that for the whole 50%, and then keep holding it as the ultimates came through. Sweat did such a good job keeping the Widow picks alive, but that was just the battle of the traces, I believe, especially on Ruins. Yeah. It was, which Tracer can get the better opening pick. And towards the beginning, it was all Sad. I mean, that was also much sadness. It was all sad. Getting those pulse bombs, getting that double kill onto Bees and Eggs of the Legs was just massive, and that's allowed them to get that 99% there, Apara. But then, oops, that's my timer. But then Squelch just came in and stepped on the competition after that, and really stepped it up, getting into those back lines, taking out Rose really early as well. What am I trying to say? Just flip the script, and it allowed that extra 20 seconds, even though they can fly back. It just bought that valuable time. It seems that we are going to go to Hollywood. Orion has picked a little bit more dive again. I mean, Hollywood, you can really play whatever the heck you want on second point, especially. And even first point. Towards the last point, though, it's a little bit harder to play Winston. You don't really have many soft diving spots, so maybe the Rhine. But we've seen very, very clearly that both these tanks can pull out whatever they need to and make it work. Gat and Squid have been incredible main tanks so far, as well, of course, as the off tanks with the bombs, as well as that peel.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. I think on both sides of the teams, all their players are coming together so beautifully right now. The dives have been really incredible by Jokers, so we've got to keep an eye on that as we move into Hollywood and see how they're gonna make that happen here and try and take this next map. Being a bit of a different map, the hybrid, you know, you start off by trying to take the first point and then push this payload. So we could see quite a bit of change up in playstyle. Galileo opting for the Junkrat here now, and Squelch running on a Torbjorn with a Symmetra.
On attack as well.
Yeah.
that is
Teleport the turret in behind them.
Yeah, right. Just tally the Bastion at that point. But it would just get past that choke. They'll probably be either tallying to the high ground immediately, either behind them or just on the high ground. Or I suppose you can just go like hard left and wrap around the low ground. But I bet, and why you would take the sim is so that you can just get those high grounds so much faster. Squelch though is on the Sombra instead of the Torbjorn, unfortunately. Galileo will be sticking with that Junkrat, so it's a lot of damage to come through onto Gat's shield. They're going to have to be very, very careful.
Yeah, that dynamite makes that fight a little bit more scary, but with a really good teleporter into a back room. However, the supports get found by Squid and Sad. Oh, that's not going to be good for any sort of healing capabilities coming through. You want to try find some way to get back to some safety here now if you are the Jokers. This is a really rough place to be without your supports.
Really rough. They're going to have to wait until the last second to try and attack again. But that was just absolutely brutal, losing out so quickly too. Sweat's building up so much charge, but unfortunately it's not enough. Squid takes down Gat as well as the Sweat themselves fall to a dynamite. That is a very fast fight. There's just so much damage coming in from Galileo and Sad. Para. It's just too much for Gat's shield to handle, and Loose Goose can only eat up so much.
Feeling much better.
They're almost looking a little bit disconnected now. I mean, it sounded like a good call by Jokers to just push the supports before they could get through the teleporter. But then on this fallback, they didn't really all try and escape together. It became a bit messy. And so seeing that, it's going to be interesting to see how they try this. They're going to take the teleporter again, but Squid is just waiting there. And yet Gat falls the shadow by Sweat. This is what we were talking about. Squid with those nasty Reinhardt plays. You've got to watch out when you got him on Reinhardt.
That was just brutal. The fight has been taken and it's only 22 minutes to go. Now that's half the time burnt on this Symmetra sort of strat that they were going for, but Sweat has chosen to go McCree instead. Hasn't worked. That's fair enough. Let's go next. Now you got to be so careful. Both DPS of Orion have their ultimates. The Tile is just a fight ender, let's be honest. And then Bob, even if they only contest the point and just exist as a 7th player, is enough, to zone, if not kill some of Jokers.
Man, they're putting so much pressure on these rotations. Sweat falling so low and the anti-net means they can't heal. Here comes the Riptire, finding two, taking out Sweat and X with legs, and Sad popping the Bob as well, the Nano on Squid. A lot of ultimates used, but I mean, it is going to stop this push coming through once again.
Yeah, so if you're Jokers, you do definitely have a big ultimate combo coming up. You've got Squelch and Loose Goose with that EMP bomb, which would completely remove, of course, Synergy and Squid's capability of protecting the team. The thing that I wanted to point out as well is that Cosmic's been playing so safe as well. It's going to be, it's really, really hard to get access to try and take him out, and because of that, being able to heal the team constantly. Here comes the EMP and the bomb. It picks up 2.
That was the combo you were talking about right there, Pap, and it worked so perfectly. Squelch also managing to finish off Galileo in the backline there. Cosmic now getting brought back, and Rose with these risky reses has come through in the past, but not so much this time, as Cosmic is just going to be ult charged for Jokers.
Squid, yeah, that's fair. Loose Goose just running in, just please end me. I just want to go back into my mech. Yeah, the EMP bomb sealed the deal. There we go. And I think there will be a little bit of a switch up from Squelch, yeah, onto that Hanzo. I'm surprised there might not be a monkey though, because you can really take those high ground spots off Orion, because now that they've put their DPS of Galileo and Sad on said high ground, it's going to be very, very hard to push through all of the damage.
They're going to be keeping an eye on how they're pushing, trying to slow down this push in any way possible. Shatter from Squid. It was a little bit of a flashy shatter, but I mean, it's all about the fun and trying to make it look good. Galileo and Bob were out to cause damage, so Squid could just have fun, and it gave them the point, so, you know.
720 shatter! Look, it did shut down the fight, and now will they stagger? No, okay, that's very nice. It's very nice of you, Squid, to not stagger those skills. Jokers there coming up with a couple of ultimates themselves. They've got both support ults to push in here. B still hasn't had to use that beat to keep everybody alive, so maybe you might think to beat engage really aggressively, though you do have to watch out for Synergy's grab.
The grab is going to be critical here. Deadeye comes up and the shatter shuts it down and connects onto so many of their players. Even with the immortality legs. It was, oh my gosh, Squid, that's why they 720'd. They wanted to build it up so quickly that they could just throw it in your face.
I could see the ultimates and I didn't even call that. That was just beautifully played. You've still got so many ults as well to fall back on for Orion. They're just not being pressured enough from Jokers. It's so hard to push into something like this, especially with Tyre from Galileo coming out just to end it, but that's enough. That shadow will be it.
Immortality comes through perfectly to stop the Riptide. The risky Riptide doesn't come through today, unfortunately. That's going to be a team kill. Oh my gosh, Pat.
Synergy will want that grab back. That was an unfortunate Q slip there. Unfortunately, half the team were already down for them, so, you know, no follow-up really existed. Although they did force out beat, and Sad goes down so quickly. Sweat's just come out and absolutely obliterated, I think, 4 members of the team already. Here comes Bomb.
Yeah, Sweat needs to step on this widow. That was a good bomb. This could help them continue pushing on through, because they've only got 20 seconds left. The Nano Bob is going to put a lot of pressure. Gat trying to charge him, doesn't really manage to land it, but Sweat getting the kills, it doesn't matter. Rose gone now. Maybe all that you need to do is play what you're confident in, and that's going to be all that matters. Sad now just behind, trying to stall it out with this like last second push. They're going to get
oh my gosh, Sweat! Headshot after headshot after headshot, this man. Oh, that was incredibly well played. And that one push when they went onto the Widow, I think they got at least about 6 picks there, especially onto both supports as well from Orion. Obviously, you need those guys. You need to keep them alive. Sad has now gone onto their own Widow and taken out Squelch pretty much immediately, but Card Presence was already there, as well as oh, no shadow. That doesn't happen.
That's so unfortunate, that shadow block by Gat. You got to be happy with that, with the amplification matrix coming out. A lot of pressure. Beautiful strike. Takes out Cosmic and Rose through the amplification matrix. So much damage. Squid and Synergy now both fall as well. The duo of the Sentry taken out there, and that's going to be this payload continuing along.
Yeah, and they didn't have to use many ults to get it either. You only had to use the VAP, amplification matrix, if I got it right.
Yeah,
you've got, yeah. Now you've got Gat's ult. They didn't have to use it for that last fight, and it's all, you know, with 20 seconds remaining, it's last fight territory here. It's where you use everything. Tyre's coming out, doesn't get anything. Sweat actually picks it off. Immortality field used from both sides does get taken out. Gat, though, falls.
If Sweat can see it, Sweat will shoot it. Rose now trying to get aggro, a little bit of battle mercy onto Sweat here, but Rose, you're so far behind. She manages to fly away, gets behind a shield, but Sweat can't protect, Squid can't protect it when Sweat's shooting on the board right now. Shatter from Squid, desperately trying to keep something alive. Gat responds and connects onto Synergy here. Squid does get the charge onto Eggs with legs, and this payload just needs to keep pushing, and that's what it's going to do. Cosmic and Rose are all that's left, both trying desperately, Amplification Matrix is going to come out, but with Gat just swinging, remake kill could be what they need, but Sweat getting 2 now. Sweat on the high ground is so scary. It's going to be really hard for Synergy and Squid now to try and contest this point when Sweat is looking down from above you. Synergy just hiding behind the shield, and Loose Goose and Sweat are just doing so much work, the dragons, to make sure nobody comes through that doorway. Immortality has to get used early just so they can survive it, and this baby diva is stalling really well. It means that Cosmic can come back, but Sweat is just clicking heads at that door.
Sweat? What?
I think, Pap, what we have to talk about is just swapping off onto a hero that you're confident on is so important.
So important, and it works. It clearly works for Sweat. They've got such good reposition skills as well as, I mean, of course, and that goes without saying, but they're always in the most annoying spots. And, you know, Galileo and Sad, they can try their best, but they're never able to quite nail down where the heck Sweat might be. Even when Sad went onto the Genji, the immediate up close and personal headshot that I don't know if you guys saw or not was just so brutal. And of course, Loose Goose staying alive thanks to the efforts of their supports was also quite remarkable. The only really good thing you can take from Orion is that it was a great defense. They got all the way to overtime, and Hollywood can be really brutal like that, where you can either get absolutely rolled in like 4 minutes. It's like, well, I guess we had a defense, or it's just really hard fought. The cart stopped multiple times, and it could have gone either way, Apara, at any point in time, especially at that choke point B. It was held exceptionally well. Now the turns have tabled. Orion are now attacking. Galileo did like the look of the Sombra that was played, and will go, of course, for that EMP, possibly with the grab. But again, you have Sad on the Hanzo, so there's lots of combos with that grab. Maybe you might go with the Reinhardt EMP Shatter. That can also be a really good combo. Squelch and Sweat, though, they will be going on the Junkrat and the Ashe, much like Orion did on their defense.
And they're actually opting to go up onto the high ground, get that high ground pressure. Loose Goose is going to try and meet them up top. I guess the real question is going to be who's going to build up enough of an ult charge to synergize with Synergy here. But with Galileo falling early, it's going to be hard. Squid does charge into Bees, but Gat also charges into Cosmic. The kills are back and forth, but that benefits the defense right now because they can get a little bit more aggro. Galileo has respawned, but realistically, now with the attacker respawns, they can hopefully start to get a bit more aggro, Pap. Orion might be able to push in here.
Did you see that? The cat kill onto Cosmic went up on the high ground and flanked. It was incredible to watch. Squelch's tie gets destroyed. Oh, this is a moment where you can push here, Orion. What the hell, Gat? He's doing Bloodborne charges. Gets charged himself off the map. Somehow Joker is able to claw this back, but Rose now up into the sky, taking out Squelch. So back and forth, but I believe it will go the way of Orion.
Yeah, Orion have basically won this fight now. It's just Loose Goose, all that's left. Self-destruct, desperately trying to get any sort of value, but that's all that's going to be written for that point.
I don't know. Who you push in? Because look, Gat's here.
Oh, we do.
I think it's actually winnable. The Shatter comes out, doesn't catch anything. Galileo destroys Cat.
Yeah, that was devastating. Galileo just making sure they cannot stall there. What a hold. I mean, what an attack.
Yeah, right. What an attack. And Gat, they tried their best, but unfortunately shattered into not just a shield, but also a bubble. So there's not much you can really do about that. Sweat has now gone onto the Sweat pick that they're known for of the Widowmaker, especially on this kind of map where it's quite linear and there's so many spots where you can peek from. Sad's going to have their work cut out for them, especially with Squelch as well, putting on the long-range damage.
Oh, Fire Strike early onto Eggs with legs. That's going to be really good right now. And the Reinhardt hammer fight right here is going to go in the favor of Squid when they can get a shatter. The shield does block it, but the grab means that the remaining players stuck in that grab are going to fall. Squelch and Loose Goose just stuck on the high ground. Synergy comes up to meet them, and What a good fight for Orion right there.
Yeah, and I must say though, that was a really nice pick to take out Sad before they could even drag, and the fight was already over, but I just want to point that out. Next fight though, possibly the last fight of this point, depending on how Jokers go here, but Galileo does have that EMP for Orion, so we'll pop it and possibly work with a Nano. Nobody somehow gets taken out. Nano, he is anti though, he's gonna have to be so careful, Gad.
Yeah, Gat with the Nano. Squid gets a responsive Nano by the Arnas, loving to just power up these Reinhardts so they can swing like crazy. Rose getting a bit of battle mercy onto Sweat. That's so good. And now we do just see Rose trying to keep Synergy and the remaining players alive. Unfortunately, without the heals from Mercy, we did see Squid fall.
Yeah, and no EMP either. That's definitely no EMPs. Galileo getting taken out there. Squelch now has Dragon. You can't really use it with anybody. It will be more of a zoning tool, so you can push away the supports and then focus in on the tanks, or vice versa, depending on how they want to do it. You do have the bomb where you can just throw it out randomly. That's a bit of a YOLO Dragon. Yeah. Well, trying their best, I suppose, to force Squid off the high ground, but I think he was already planning on dropping.
Oh, there's the EMP and a shatter to come through. Sound barrier does get off, so the EMP didn't connect onto Lucio, unfortunately. Squid does get the charge though, and that grab connects onto plenty of the enemies of Jokers right there. Synergy managing to take out Exit Legs, and a desperate self-destruct to find any sort of stall value right now. Squelch, Rose loves the battle mercy, and I love to see it come through in this sort of situation.
It's amazing. That was remarkably played from Orion there. That they did have to use quite a few ults. The Shatter EMP came out. That still wasn't enough, so Synergy did pop the grab. So this is a time, if you were Jokers, to really solidify an early defense so that the cart doesn't get much progression. Sweat's getting taken out from Sad as well. That's not what you want when you want to mount a good defense while Orion doesn't have as many ults. That's a hack as well from the high ground to Gat. They can't do anything.
What a huge shatter from Squid. That's going to bring 4 on the board, and oh my gosh, what a play. Sad now just going to crush a Sweat. Wow.
What the heck was that hack from Galileo onto Gat, allowing that shatter from Squid to come down so quickly as well? Can you build these? Now you have support ults from Orion. Cosmic will probably Nano Squid, just building up that shatter he seems to have all the time, even faster.
Kills both sides by both Hanzos, and Squid takes out Gat. The Dragons coming through by Squelch, but the grab is better as these tanks can just roll through. And such a bit of time bank.
Even faster.
Such a bit of
2 minutes and 12 seconds. Oh, that was, like you said, that was a much better time bank from Orion there. And you can see, it's so back and forth. Bees was correct. We're going to get such an intense matchup here today, Apara. Even though Jokers might have gotten third point just barely, Orion can show that once Squid can attack on that Reinhardt, boy, are they brutal.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I feel like the only reason we saw that last minute push was a little bit of a swap from Sweat onto Widow. And I mean, because of the hesitation to just go on the comfort pick, it did lead to such a slow push, and it meant they don't get this time bank that they wanted, and now that's so much favor for Orion.
It's even interesting you say that though, because Sweat did actually try to go on the Widow there, but on the defense, excuse me. And you'd think that because you're on a defense as a Widow, it's a little bit easier to position yourself correctly, but just kept getting taken out. You could see Sad or Galileo. Annoying, you saw Rose, for goodness sake, battle mercying them. So it's really, really hard for Sweat to get much value when that much dive is coming in. There is Sweat will now go onto the 76 instead. Squelch also will be trying to squelch the extreme aggression from Squid by using walls. So they're going to have to be very careful, Orion, because they haven't actually made any hero switches on their second attack. How will they go?
Yeah, and there's the Mayweather right there. Squid does get blocked off, but actually manages to survive. Yeah, the anti-nade means that Squid is gonna fall so quickly. Rose does get the res, so this fight is not over by any means. The Squid can get aggro, but the Maywolves are so perfect, splitting this tank off. Sad gets slapped on top. But the wall wakes up a bit quicker though, and Gat now taking so much damage. That came through so quickly. Bees can't get the res through, and Pap, there is only one tick on the board available that is needed to try and get the win here. So they have to play Pixel perfectly. Squelch gets into an ice block just to stay alive, but that means Eggs with Legs is going to take so much damage. Squid and Synergy both getting kills on the board here. Finds Squelch around the wall. The Shadow means no one's touching. And that is going to be one tick right there.
1-1 All-Stars Orion take Hollywood. I just want to mention really quickly Galileo on that Sombra pick. Basically, they were just a distraction that entire time. Both DPS actually had to turn their heads, as well as some of the supports as well. And because of that, Gat actually couldn't get as many heals as he needed to stay alive. Just look at this mess. Just nasty. Beautiful place. Oh gosh. Yeah, I can't give enough appreciation. Orion did a fantastic job on that attack, especially working around those Maywolves. Jokers, they got all anti-naded there as well. Even when Squid fell, it still forced Jokers to come back because they couldn't aggress when Gat was 1 HP. And a dream to stay alive. So because of that backing up, they weren't allowed to push their advantage, and allowed the Mercy res and allowed the push to be even stronger than before because the Maywalt was already down. When it came up again, it kind of got Squid, but not enough. And you've got those maneuverable heals of Mercy to keep that alive, that it was just curtains, especially with that when that shatter came down.
Man, we talk about those ult combos, and having a player like Synergy is perfect because you want Synergy when you're ult comboing, and we saw Galileo and Squid do it perfectly. I mean, the grabs were coming out, and the team was just walking on top of those grabs. So realistically, that perfect ultimate usage is really critical in games like this where you want to get that faster time bank, because time bank is your resource that you're playing for. You want the better time bank, and so realistically Orion did it so perfectly, and it'll be interesting to see how Jokers come through this round. They get to choose the map, and it looks like they've chosen Dorado, so it's going to be interesting to see what they choose to maybe play around the map.
What they sort of pick. I just want to point out as well, the communication from both teams have been really, really good. Like, you don't see, especially in the sort of lower bracket, you don't see much of those sort of ultimate combos. But I mean, Jokers have been around for 1.5 years, and you've had many, many players of Orion that have played together previously, so they all know how each other play. Oh my goodness, they all know how each other play, and they also, and because of that, they're able to, effectively communicate. And you could really see that come out with Orion. We had EMP bomb at one point. We had the shatter that came out with the EMP, and then not to mention as well the dragon that attempted to come out with Synergy's grab, but they're always using their ultimates very, very effectively together. Jokers as well, they've been doing pretty well, but they're more relying on picks from Sweat or from Squelch on the Hanzo, whereas and Loose Goose hasn't been playing as much of the Zarya and more opting for the Diva, which is working perfectly in Orion's favor with the amount of aggression that you're seeing. You know, you can't get a bubble onto Gat. You can't DM a hammer, although I've tried. I can't stop trying to DM shatters, for goodness sake. That never works. So as soon as the team of Orion are on top of you, I mean, what can you do at that point?
Yeah, it's a scary moment for Jokers when you see Orion just coming through in full force, and it's going to be interesting to see what Jokers do to take on them. Moving into Dorado, we might see a bit more dive style play. We might see the Winston, we might see the Diva, and it seemed like the Jokers were really good at that communication on diving players, and then
Yeah.
because of that dive, it gave Sweat the better openings to play Widow so perfectly. So I think that could be the game changer here, and I hope we see quite a back and forth match. We have so
We
far,
have
and
so far, yeah.
yeah,
I don't see it stopping either. I
yeah.
do agree. I reckon they will go for the dive. Maybe we'll see another Symmetra possibly to get if you are going to go for the Reinhardt to get him on the high ground as fast as possible. But yeah, usually you've got that high ground space. So you can either use it if you're the defense to drop it, and you've always got your engagement tool as more of a disengagement tool. Another thing we haven't really discussed is you can always poke on Dorado as well, because you've got those really long sight lines, especially on first and second point. Not so much on third. It's a little bit up close and personal on that one. But as soon as you get to that choke that I'm sure everybody knows that I'm talking about underneath that bridge on first point, it's so hard to push past that as the attacking team, especially when you have, and bear with me here, double shield.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, maybe it's worth exploring that if your Jokers, to give Sweat that tank of presence that are just going to stay right there and protect Sweat so that they can pop off. On the other side, though, Orion, I don't know why you wouldn't just keep the aggression up from Synergy and from Squid, especially when Galileo and Sad have been working so well together on the Tracer and on the Sombra and even on the Hanzo.
One thing we should talk about is the fact that we had that sub come in because they were missing a DPS, which actually pushed Galileo off of off-tank onto DPS. Galileo is usually the off-tank, and we've been informed by Galileo themselves that they're usually the off-tank. So it's kind of interesting to see how, Synergy came in. They said, yeah, let's just run Synergy on tank anyway, because Synergy is a tank player. And Galileo was like, yeah, I'll DPS, and they're still rocking it.
No, they are. In fact, if I ever contact you, you'll have to fill out a form, and as part of this form actually was, what do you guys play? So we get to sort of know you guys a little bit more. And a lot of Orion were very sort of flexy. We had Galileo, yes, was the off tank, but also I was told could play that DPS, and that actually happened a lot with Orion. They're like, yeah, they can main support, but they can also off tank. And I'm like, that's amazing. Go from the Mercy immediately to the Zarya. So yeah, Orion do have that. They clearly play the other roles. I know that they scrim a lot, and also just practice in general a lot together as a team. They're very tight. So that's why they know how each of the roles play, and they can work around that pretty effectively.
It's really cool to see such good teamwork coming through, and it is with experience that brings it. So I'm really enjoying this match so far, being able to watch both teams communicate, respond, use ults well. And I mean, just a reminder, this is our Div 7 game, which means when we move into Div 3, which is our next matchup, it's going to be beautiful.
Right? If this is anything to go by, then we jump up 4 divs. I can't imagine what we might be seeing. But the defense will be first off from Orion. They'll be going the Sigma. We haven't actually seen much Sigma. Synergy will be going on a Sigma with the Flux. And then, of course, Squid enjoying the Reinhardt. Why not too? We'll be you can see rocks and energy balls just flying over spawn there. That was beautiful. And then Sad, of course, will be damage boost by Rose. You've got that high ground as Ash and also Galileo. There's a Dynamite as well. They're just throwing stuff over. I mean, why not, right? Gat and Loose Goose will be diving instead. I don't mind this at all. And then you've got the double sniper to bring up the rear. The only real quite big change is the supports. These will be going on the brig. So quite brawly, although they'll probably just be protecting the Ana.
Yeah, you can throw some armor packs on the way to the tanks as they dive in. You could see a little bit of value coming out there. Oh, but that Dynamite is brutal onto Bees. She's just trying to stay alive, hiding behind the payload right now. Gat then jumps onto the high ground and pushes every single player off. All of them have to drop right there, and that's going to be really hard. But this is the perfect location if you're running around Sigma. This is where you want to be right now. Squid perfectly positioned to make it really hard for Gat and Loose Goose to try and find the right kind of dive. And these dynamites have been devastating. So much damage pumped out, making it real hard.
Oh, no.
And that's where Gat falls. Yeah, Galileo getting the kill onto Gat. So much damage from the dynamite, and then they were jumping over, so the supports couldn't fully see and heal. It is going to be something like Sweat and Squelch going on this flank here. Squelch and Sweat both going in behind, get found by Sad and Synergy. The split push.
Oh,
it's going to
no.
be a slow one.
It's going to be a slow one,
no.
but I can see why Gat sort of stood in the choke. It built up Nano exceptionally fast, and here it comes. They've just dove the supports into the backline. Does get booped away. That was really, really good. That's absolutely no value now. You'll have to just dive in blind and try their best. Come on, Gat. On the other side, there's a massive anti-nade, especially with Galileo falling.
Bob has to come out to slow down this push because Galileo fell, and they used Riptide and got no value out of it. Now Primal pushing Synergy into a corner. This Bob just putting so much pressure onto Jokers right now.
What was that?
Shatter comboed with what a combo, the Gravitic Flux. Shatter, that is just going to clean the board here, and that is sending everyone back to spawn.
That was great, but I'd be happy if I was Jokers there. I mean, that was good synergy, but Squid already had them down, and they were already out. There were already 2 players down. You had Rose that pops Valkyrie there as well. So they had to use so many ults. Cosmic is the only one with that, with the ultimate amplification matrix. But on the other side, Jokers, they have so many ults to fall back on. You might have the Dragon Bomb combo, if that's even a combo, to just push them into an unfavorable position. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they use these ults. Sweat initiates with a bit of view there so they can see what's going on. Dragons come out, the immortality keeping Cosmic alive, and out comes the self-destruct now. They're just throwing ult after ult, but the kills are coming through, so I guess there's value. A little bit of a rally as well, and Squid with the anti-nade means that they're going to fall so low.
They really want this, Jokers. They really want this.
They just throw every ultimate out. Wow.
That was every ult that they had there. And look, if you get the point, you get the point. First point of Dorado is probably the hardest, I'd argue. Third point can definitely be tough, of course, because spawn is so close. Second point is a little bit more favorable in fact, not really favorable for either side. Both of them probably have to come back about the same length of time, depending, of course, where the cart is. Now, Orion, they do have some ultimates that have been built up. Sad has almost got their Bob. You can see Sweat now has so much maneuverability around the point, but gets taken out by Cosmic, gets out sniped by the Bat.
Yeah, Bap taking you out on Widow, that's not a good look. Sad pops the Bob and takes out Gat. And this defense is now looking really good for Orion as 3 are off the table and the rest are just falling back.
Yeah, this is where Jokers, you just need to get those ultimates back up and running after using all of them and push in again. You now, though, have both support ults from Orion that they'll have to push into. And Rose's Valkyries have been so extreme in the DPS way that you basically got 3 DPS at that point. They're going to be very careful of that.
And the Primal comes out. Squid manages to charge Gat during the Primal, but there's so much HP. Squid gets a really good shatter, but the kills can't be followed up just right there. Rose is getting so aggro with this battle mercy. I love to see it. Once again, taking out Sweat, and you know, when it's a mercy and a bat that's taking out the Widow, that's devastating. Dragons gets eaten.
Wow.
Loose Goose though, so that's gonna look really good for Loose Goose right now. And a self-destruct to finish off Cosmic even.
Oh no, they won't
sleep onto Bob. Bob is just not gonna live this for very long as this payload is gonna continue tracking along. Self-destruct by Synergy, not gonna connect onto much, and I think this is just desperation right now from Orion there, Pat.
No, indeed. Look, they're just kind of throwing bodies at the point. And it's not like, yeah, even even the aggression from Squid can't really pick up too many. Although just the presence themselves has pushed them back a little bit. Gat is now back into the fight, and Sweat finally with a pick on their side, and Squat taking out Rose. This is pretty much although Galileo might as well even up.
Yeah, no, it's just going to go all the way of Jokers, though. Those 2 picks, even one from Galileo, isn't going to be enough. Synergy just stalling it out. It was really good just waiting out that fight by Jokers, I feel.
Oh yeah, the patience just paid off immensely. Gat and Loose Goose just got to come from like different angles, and that's why you take the Brig as well, to keep the Ana alive, as well as of course just push away any of the aggression that's coming from Squid. There's actually so many ultimates from either side there, because the fight was kind of so sporadic and everywhere that nobody really got to clamber together a cohesive attack. You've now got sights coming from Sweat. We'll be able to see everybody on the field here. Nothing's really come up, but there is Squelch on the high ground looking to get some picks.
It looks like Sweat was purely just using it to find a way that they can position themselves to get picks, and they realize they just go in behind, but the Nano and Squelch on the high ground maybe can get a bit of value. However, Orion are going to find the value instead. Squelch only taking 1 out, but meanwhile Orion just taking names on that board and finishing the whole team off there.
Everyone was so low as well in Orion. It was good that they finished up the fight when they could. Squid ended that fight with 50 HP. And now you've got 50 seconds remaining on the board here. Gat has switched over to the Reinhardt, which I definitely agree with. It's a little bit harder on this point to dive unless you go fully into must keep Winston alive. Now it's must keep Reinhardt alive, but he's a little bit more survivable, especially when he stays as a team. What was that from Galileo?
Galileo was just hiding around the corner, and Bees had no idea. Self-destruct now comes out, gets blocked by the shield, but Gat manages to get the charge onto Synergy. Synergy's going to respond with the self-destruct of their own, and Galileo getting another good kill onto Squelch. This is looking really good for Orion Knight right now on the defense. Gat and Loose Goose just trying to put the aggro on to get any further distance, but Galileo's just walking into you. Bob now pressuring the point. It's going to be so hard to touch, and with only 5 seconds left, Rally gets forced out by Bees, desperately trying to find some kind of value here to get this payload moving. Loose Goose and Squelch also joining in, but the Death Blossom by Galileo does get pushed into an awkward corner, but Squid and Cosmic can work with it. They managed to find that little bit of value, and not even a shatter is going to come through as overtime ticks away, and they don't manage to secure that 3rd tick.
Gosh, it was so back and forth, so close. This map is so close every time. And yeah, Jokers, they tried to do a little bit of a composition switch up, but of course, you have no ultimates when you switch heroes, and it's all set back to 0. And because of that, Orion just held that ultimate advantage coming into that last fight. And yes, Galileo's Death Blossom might not have gotten kills, but it definitely got value in terms of just pushing people off the cart. You know, you had Bees, their shield was already really low, and then they already used Bash. And then Galileo comes in, Death Blossoms, there's only so much you can do. Even whip-shotting them away is still value for the Reaper. Now we're going on to the attack for Orion, and they will possibly be putting Sad back on the Ashe, but that doesn't matter. What matters is Sweat on the Torbjorn? Question mark? They're trying to sim strat again, Apara, and hopefully this works in their favor. Although, why? My question is though, why would you take the sim? I mean, I guess you could put it on top of the bridge as they sort of push in. That would definitely slow down a Reinhardt, but they might not expect quite a different switch up with Synergy now on the ball. We haven't actually seen ball tonight.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of ball on Hollywood. Synergy went on it just on the last point to just slow down this payload push, but now seeing it getting actually utilized on an actual attack will be very interesting to see. And it looks like with Jokers being so split up, I don't see how much value is going to come through from the DPS up on this high ground. I mean, the turrets are good, sure, but it's going to be so hard to get support, and you do see Squid just jumping up on high ground, but oh my gosh, So much damage.
What?
Never mind.
I sweat.
Positioning. I take everything back. Sweat is a god.
Sweat's turret MVP of the night? Question mark. They're completely shut down, and it's really hard for a Genji to push into that. They know that, Orion, pretty much immediately. Everybody switches up, really, except the healers. There's so much damage though from Jokers. The aggression's just too much.
I don't know what Orion are gonna do to try find value in this weird composition playing on 3 different rooftops right now. Squid now, I mean, they make a little bit of payload process and then they just don't go any further. And I think they're just getting mentally confused on what to do. They're just feeding out. Oh, okay, that concussion blast is perfect though. That's exactly what you're wanting to see. With Squelch out of the match now, Torbjorn's having to try run away using the teleporters, but Synergy just can get up close and personal. Gat getting anti-nated on the main payload here. Self-destruct being thrown out. This is still fine for Jokers, realistically. Sad is getting the kills, but this payload's taking so long to make any progress, Pap.
Yeah, now Galileo's pop primal instantly does get to sleep, but gets woken up as well as a pause. Here's our first OCE disconnect of the night.
It's not even our second match, Pap. Oh no.
Oh, no. But Sweat did do the molten core. Hasn't died just yet. Beast has 1,000 ping. That's an F right there. But Sweat did molten core on the point, taking out Cosmic, which is quite a lot of heals. So Rose now has a choice. Do you stick with Sad and damage boost, or do you go for that quick cheeky res onto Cosmic, who's really close to Nano? Here, you also, because of Gat's sort of stalls, now a lot of the team is coming back. Squelch now has that wall, Apara, and of course, Eggs with Legs also has the amplification matrix, which will allow Sweat's turret to become even more incredible as it already has been.
It's gonna be, yeah. I think you're making a really good call by thinking about the res onto Cosmic, because that they're using Valkyrie right now, but that means they've got Nano, they've got a bomb, and they've got Squid's primal rage, which, with the amount of ultimates that have just been used in this fight so far, is favorable for Orion, and they do desperately need something to try and push under the archway right here. So if they can get that coming through, that could be a really good play.
The problem you've got to battle then is the molten core only just went out, so it's there for a while, and I think Cosmic was pretty wrapped up in it all, and it slows you down and just damages you so fast, especially with the turret on top of that already massive amount of damage. So it's going to be quite hard for the res, but it could be worth it. Galileo as well with the Reaper. It's trying to get value on Gat, but Gat is just kind of everywhere all at once, and because of that, Galileo just can't get close enough to the DPS, and especially to the most important people that they'd want to be taking out, which is the supports, because you've got that Brig to protect the BAP, who already has a protection enough with that immortality field. So the only real thing you got to worry about here is Sad. I think this Farah pick was actually really, really smart by them. They don't have any true hit scan counter unless you count the Baptiste. But then again, the BAP has been doing incredible heals on Gat. So if Eggs with Legs kind of looks away from Gat for like a second, Gat might just die.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've got Sweat as well. Sweat might be able to put a little bit of pressure, but not perfectly. I'd love to see a hammer kill onto Sad, however. That's what I was thinking when you were talking about no hit scan. I was like, well, the hammer exists. What about that?
Do it. Palpatine says.
Yeah.
Do it. Unfortunately, Bees apparently has 1,000 ping and is restarting her Wi-Fi, so that's a rip. And then there she goes to restart the Wi-Fi. That is unfortunate. Anyway, Para. There is a synergy bomb that we actually haven't. I just saw as well. So maybe if the res doesn't go off, do you push in even further with the bomb?
Look at their health. I think it might be a remake. Now that I think about it.
It could be actually. Yeah, because if you
I'm
look at
not
loose goose, it's only like 21%. Could be a little bit different, especially because how low
Yeah.
the health pool is. Yeah, there's now a PC restart call as
Yep.
well.
They're putting everything in, so we may be wrong about the bomb. It may just be a remake, but I mean, we don't know what the ultimate percentage for Synergy is. Synergy could still have a bomb
Could
that
could be.
we don't know about.
Although they
Um,
were running a different comp, they were running ball, so it is unlikely. Yeah,
True.
they were running ball early, so it's unlikely. So that's my bad. I reckon they're just
Yeah, no,
remaking.
that's all good.
You're completely you're completely
Yeah,
correct.
that does change up things a little bit here for Orion, and they need to find something. I mean, this wacky defense has worked really well for Jokers so far. And we were questioning it. We were like, why do you run the Symmetra? Why do you run this? But it was to get Torbjorn onto this high ground and then put the turret in a defensive location so you can't dive the Torb. It just wrecks my brain. And I think the thing that wrecks it more is the fact that it worked so well. I don't understand.
They were on like 4 rooftops at once,
Yeah.
Jokers. Counting, Sweat's Torbjorn turret on that yellow building on the far left hand side. Then you also had, I mean, we saw where the teleporter came in with the back left for me at least, that sort of red building that you can be on that's facing the point. You had Squelch, as well as I think Sweat was also there just poking away. And then of course you had Gat and Loose Goose that were just about everywhere.
Yeah, it was so smart. I didn't think it would come through very well, but I mean,
Mm.
they proved me wrong. That's for sure. Just the chaos confused Orion enough, and I love to see that come through. Orion finally are managing to push around the corner that they struggled with, so the goofy plays might not come through so well. We might even, if Sweat dies, we might see Sweat swap off to Widow to try and just counter Sad completely and make sad
Right.
realistically.
Yeah, I mean, you're completely right. I think if Sweat falls down early here, there's no reason to not just switch off to that Widowmaker, and then Sad really would have a hard time, especially on second point, let alone third point where you've got that indoor space. But I think right now, far as the good pick until Sweat potentially dies, then you'd go over to the Widow pick, and then everybody on the team, let's be honest, has to be careful. We've seen headshots left and right from Sweat, although hasn't actually really appeared much in Dorado Sweat. I mean, you get a couple of kills, but hasn't been as dominant as we saw in Ilios Aparo.
Yeah. Now, the final thing I think we should talk about just really quickly as Bees is returning is the
Yep.
fact that Bees is losing their ult charge and has been
Mm,
sent all the way back to spawn now.
5v6, yeah, that's true.
That is actually going to change things up a lot, especially if we do see the res come out onto Cosmic. It is going to be a 5v6, and that is going to be a bit game changing with Bees losing their ult
Mm.
charge, being so far away from the fight. We might just see this go in the way of Orion here. As we now jump back into the game, we actually do see the res come through. Rose opting to play real safe, and Galileo instantly taking out Squelch as well. This is just, yeah, this is
All that thinking time,
go.
and it just goes all the way
Yeah.
with Orion. Sweat goes down. Sweat will probably go over to the Widow because you have to get Sad somehow. Do you recontest here though, Para? I think they might, as Gat just jumped right over the archway, but kind of just getting deleted right now.
So much damage with Squelch, and Bees are back. Squelch does get taken out, however. I think they threw out the wall just to finish it off. A rocket barrage and a nano? Don't know about the nano. I feel like you mostly won that fight. Sweat now just getting a cheeky final kill. Don't know about the nano.
No, I don't know about the Nano either, especially because Sad might want to switch off, although it does get Sweat because unfortunately didn't have the healers were all down. Yeah, I don't know. Do you switch it up here, Sad, or you're already building up the next barrage? Galileo though does. Oh, sorry, that is a brutal pick as well as that one. Oh my goodness, Jokers, please just regroup, please.
Yeah.
Galileo now,
kills.
Galileo now already has Death Blossom. Synergy now has Bomb. Let's go. And Lusku's still so far behind with their Bomb of their own. You've really only got Amplification Matrix, and even then, what do you do? That's what you do, Apara. That's what you do.
Exactly right. That's what you do. You take out Galileo with the headshot. Self-destruct stuck in a wee little bubble there from Winston. Not going to get too much value. Cosmic was singing Lonely on the payload all by themselves, but now the fight's coming a little bit closer. However, so much pressure from Squid on these just staggered out fights means that Loose Goose is going to fall. Even with the kill onto Sad, the res is just going to come through, and this is pretty much a free push all the way through the Streets phase.
You're so right, and I think it's because of the... Oh man, Gaz is getting booped absolutely everywhere. Galileo will finish it off. Galileo didn't even have to use ult either. So they'll have that, and Sweat will have Sad's head. Right there. Galileo is taking the high ground, looking to just Death Blossom, which he will do immediately.
Taking out one and Squid taking out bees. They're just constant one after another. This is devastating. This payload is starting to get so close. There is a sleeping gap primaling on the payload, but with just one player trying to stall it out, that's not going to be very helpful. Self-destruct coming out now on both sides. Synergy gets taken out, but Galileo taking out Gat at the same time. Rose's reses have been so good to just make sure that Orion gets so much value in this fight, and now the payload so close to the beautiful golden box that Orion has their eyes on right here. Squelch trying to find any value playing around the payload to get the kills, and the DMEC onto Loose Goose does mean that Galileo can take them out. Primal Rage coming through on Squid to make sure Sweat can't get any value and touch the point, and now it's just Get on a Roadhog and Bees on Lucio, but this payload's just going to roll on through, and Orion do take it, going up 2-1.
2-1. Oh my gosh. I've got to point out how good Orion's dives have been. Even once Galileo had used the Death Blossom, forced out Immortality Field, both the tanks of Orion saw that, especially Squid, and we're just able to immediately dive onto that. I mean, you'll see it right here. This is actually happens to be play of the game. This is what I wanted to point out here, is that it was so low already, and then Squid just came in for basically the cleanup. Jokers, they were kind of just everywhere. You know, they didn't have that proper regrouping stage. Even when a pick went their way of Sweat, Orion, it just seemed the ball was always in their court, and they could hit it wherever and whenever they wanted to.
Yeah, Jokers are going to have to come together and figure something out. I mean, they played a little bit of a joke comp at the start, and it worked out, but then it kind of became a little bit unfavorable towards later stages where they just got rolled. And, you know, you see the swaps coming out to try and regroup and recontest, but they just need to say, look, let's just get together, push in as a squad, you know, don't take these like 1v2s or 2v3s or whatnot that they're looking at, and just maybe go together, because it's going to be interesting. And moving into Anubis, I mean, to be honest, Anubis can favor Joker's jokey comps.
Yeah, I mean, he can favor every comp, really, depending on which. I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but I think Anubis is up there for my favorite 2CP map. If I had to play 2CP, Anubis would be up there. Although Gat's already stolen my joke, but Temple of Draw Anubis, 9 rounds, anybody? Because you can get those, you know, 40-minute Anubis games only to end in a draw. But yeah, like you're saying, every composition kind of works here. You can play the poke, but the problem with poke, especially if Jokers pulls it out, is that Orion already has such a strong and aggressive tank line, as well as, of course, as Galileo on the Reaper. I mean, he's been playing everything really, but especially if he stays on that Reaper, Sad on maybe even the Tracer would just demolish the likes of Jokers if they were to play poke. But we haven't seen any poke from them, so maybe we might see the Winston attack and defense, because he can kind of play around that sort of high ground, especially the back of point A. Point B is a little bit harder, unless you sort of hang out where those little, I don't know, what would you call them? The little stages, the little plates that are sort of hanging on the poles. I don't know. You can kind of
Yeah,
hang out
actually,
there and
that's
vibe. What do you
I
call
wonder
them?
what you would call that. You know, if
Platforms.
it,
Platforms?
yeah,
Yeah,
platforms. That's
platforms.
probably a fine word. I feel like there'll be an official word for it, but platforms is perfectly fine. One thing that's really interesting that could make it really hard for jokers, and I just want chat to know just before they start being like, "Why is Bees playing so weirdly?" Bees is now moving onto a hotspot.
Oh no. That's a feels bad. That's major feels.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah, it is. It's pretty bad.
It's the OCE internet coming through and making it really difficult. So, you know what?
Mm.
Go easy on Bees. She's doing the best with what she's got. And yeah,
And what she's got is a horrible internet that's made her
yeah.
disconnect from Overwatch.
Oh gosh, it's
Oh no. Uh,
hopefully
you know what
the
Jokers
hotspot will be
could
better.
Yeah, you know what Joker's could actually pull out here, and it works on most 2CP maps, is the Symmetra, where you can get past the really annoying chokes of Anubis. I'd say they're not as annoying as, say, Volsky, where it's just the big archway, and it's like, all
Yeah.
right, attacking team, breathe in, go through that for 4 minutes. Good luck. it's a little bit harder, and that's why you definitely want the sim, perhaps. But we're on Anubis, and you can still make that work. 'Cause there's so many high grounds that you can potentially teleport to. Even if you just get up on that little high ground that you see the defenders sitting on a lot, that can be so good to get your healers, get your DPS, maybe even your tanks, depending on what they're going to play, up onto a more preferable position. You can even go get that Torbjorn involved as well, I suppose, and even get the Torbjorn involved on defense, because there's so many places you can place that turret.
Yeah, I think if anywhere for the goofier Torb sim comp to work, this is definitely one of those maps. And I think, like you said, with the amount of high ground, sim can
Mm,
really come in handy. Almost could be good for Squelch to play the sim and Sweat to play the Widow, because there are a lot of Widow sightlines on this map.
true,
Really
true.
good map, especially defensively, and then potentially having that teleporter to go between some of the high ground positioning for Sweat. So if they
Mm,
do opt for a Winston dive to put a lot of pressure onto Sweat, Sweat can just take a teleporter, go across, and get away.
yeah.
There's so many potential
The
opportunities for
one
Jokers.
they did try that, Jokers, and the reason it kind of didn't work is simply because as soon as the team of Orion, basically they're all always together, it's amazing, dive onto Jokers. There's just not that there's not much damage unless you can get Squelch's beam to get really high charge. But because the fights of Orion can be over like that, because they all just dive in together, it
Yeah.
doesn't give Widow enough time to get the shots. It doesn't give Squelch enough time to be able to build up the beam. And that's how it kind of fell apart. But maybe here in Anubis, where you can kind of take it a little bit slowly, wait instead for the Widow picks. Another thing I saw Gat and especially Eggs with Legs do was Gat would kind of just hang out by the chokes, purposely take damage, build that nano for Eggs with Legs, and then go in with the team. So maybe you work in a little bit more with getting the DPS involved in that way. We have another substitution. This one's Pika.
Okay, thank you. I was gonna say, what do I call this? Thank you.
Face. It's a face. No, that's Pika. Pika will now be subbing in instead of Bees. Bees has flown away trying to find better Wi-Fi. Unfortunately, the honey just couldn't be found. So they will be gone for tonight. We wish Pika the best of luck, though, as they are down a map here of Hara, and I've Pika on the main support. I've seen it. It's all right. I reckon he can get some stuff done.
Cool. I mean, maybe that's what you need. Realistically, with Bees' internet being so funky at the moment, it is good to have something come through to give a bit more consistency here. So
Mm.
I hope to see that
No more.
Pika coming through will be helpful. But
Yeah.
it seems like that's what we'll be looking at.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. I mean, will they Will they get Pika onto the brig again? Maybe Eggs with Legs might go into the main support because I know Pika's a pretty good Ana. And then they swap up the the more sub roles of the support. But Pika's extremely flexible, so I'm sure he can fit into pretty much any team. Finally, Apara, we are into Temple of Draw Nubis, where we might actually see the setting sun at times because this map can go on for so long.
Hopefully it doesn't go on so long that we get some kind of sandstorm going on here, because...
Don't start me. Don't get start me.
I'm bringing it back, Pap. I'm bringing it back. But let's see what they want to run as that time ticks away. Sweat is looking like they're opting for the Widow straight off the bat. Sad on the Ashe, and we haven't talked too much about Sad's Ashe, but the Dynamites have been devastating, and Sad is doing really well at building up a lot of bobs really quickly.
Yeah, right into ball placement. Like, he might not do something as Ashe says a lot, but certainly just creates that space for Orion to push in more aggressively and allow those kills to come through. After a lot of talking, I'm sure the teams have done, they will go for the Reinhardt and Diva for Orion. On the other side, though, a little bit of a hybrid, both on the main tank of Reinhardt and the Winston. So see how that goes, especially because Eggs with Legs will have their work cut out for them indeed, trying to keep both main tanks alive. Squelch as well, we can try and get into that backline, hacking that Reinhardt.
The wall from Galileo, just meaning they can't approach, was really smart. It slowed down the push a lot, and I mean, that's really good for time bank wise. Out comes a Dynamite perfectly placed into that room, put a lot of pressure onto Pika here. Reinhardt's charge into each other, and that's going to be a lot of value for Loose Goose, it seems like, as Loose Goose can just swing the hammer and Gat follows through, jumping up behind. Rose going for another one of those risky reses we love to see. Squid brought back into the fight, and that's a good way to keep the defense a little bit alive, just a little bit longer. But this attack has been so pixel perfect by Jokers that even the res isn't enough.
No, and like as good as the res kind of was in terms of how ballsy it was just 500 ult charge, 500 HP of ult charge, really. Yeah. The Reinhardt barely got to swing. Squid is still only at 70, whereas Sweat, there we go. The kills are finally coming through. Immediately does get doped by Synergy and taken out, but the damage might already be done as Jokers are pushing in.
Fortunately for Galileo, they did get that quicker respawn, so they managed to get back on the point, but instantly fouled by Loose Goose. And a really good anti-nade. Already the Nano's out. Out comes a Shadow with the self-destruct. Squid making name for himself right now with that Shadow. What a play on that Reinhardt.
Yeah, I don't know why Jokers didn't actually just kind of commit a little bit more there. They kind of half wanted to, half didn't. Some tried to go a little bit more aggressive, others didn't, because they had openings themselves, but Orion like, all right, if you're not gonna ult, we're gonna ult. because they didn't take the initiative, Jokers, that's another just more time burnt off the clock. And Orion, they're looking pretty comfortable at the moment, although they do have EMP, Jokers, and will possibly be going with the EMP Shadow.
Yeah, that EMP Shadow is going to be what we're looking out for right now. Synergy just getting really in the backline. The Shadow comes out. And that was really well played. Loose Goose taking out Rose, so no res. But the tanks are doing the work. They didn't manage to push in so perfectly that they were going to be able to stay alive when the tanks start walking over you. And now Gat is just desperately trying to pop Primal.
I don't know why. That's just 1,000 HP gone to the same. Although, Orion, I mean, if you have a look at their ults, they pretty much got all of them anyway. Oh my gosh. Certain DPS and support ults there. Gat has gone over to the Reinhardt. There was going to be a switch. That's fair enough. Although, I don't know. I think it's better to die on 20 HP than pop 1,000 and lose that instantly. That's just my opinion, though. But there's quite a switch up. Squelch gone onto the Tracer. Sweat onto the McCree. That is fair enough, too, because you've had Synergy on top of you the entire time, just shooting you in the face.
those dragons split up the team, and Sweat finds Galileo, tries to fan the hammer, but Synergy just drops on top of Sweat. Losing that McCree is going to make it really hard for Jokers right now. Squid pops the shatter, but the shield is ready and waiting, just connecting onto Pika right there. Self-destruct from behind, doesn't go into anyone, but Sad getting the kill, so that's going to make them a little bit happier right now. Sad taking out extra legs, and that attack is all that's going to be ridden for now.
Yeah, and they barely had to use any ults. I mean, Squid, Squid, I reckon, in 2 swings somehow builds up Shatter, so he'll have it next fight. And then Sad just dragoned, and like you said, split off the team, allowed more damage to come in. You've got a lot of ults to fall back on here, especially with something like the High Noon through the Amplification Matrix. Those heads just pop up so quickly for the High Noon. And, I mean, that's just a fight you were going to lose anyway if you're Jokers. You're just waiting for the ultimates to come up. Gat almost does have Shatter. They're just going to have to use it very, very well to try and shut down this defense. Here comes another dragon.
Another dragon's exact same location. It just splits them up, and you can see Gat get absolutely demolished by that split. Gat got soloed out, found absolutely rolled, and now the rest of the team's just trying to escape.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe you could have used beat there, but it was already way too late. Really, I bet it's kind of like if you're not going to use beat then, like maybe now's the time to do it and just speed in and hope the aggression is enough. There's a really nice amplification matrix, going to make it even harder. More time burnt off the clock, and what was 5.5 minutes of Para is now only 2 minutes and ticking down fast. Gat though does have Shaddy's looking for it.
Yeah, Gat is waiting to find the perfect opportunity for Shatter and tries to find it. There it is! Synergy and Squid thrown to the ground. Pulse Bomb comes out, and Rose now trying to res Galileo back into this fight. Squid does get the charge onto... I keep wanting to call them Kirby because of the icon. But it's
they do look Kirby.
Out comes the Destruct, and the Dragons on point are just going to zone Gat out, and it's all Gat alone again. They only get a tick.
You only get a tick, but it's a tick. You know, it's a win condition now. It's not. Yeah. I mean, it's not drawable. You're right. They have that win condition now, unless of course they fully cap, and then the other team fully cap. Then we're stuffed.
Then it might be drawable.
Anyway, now Synergy does have that bomb, and you know they've been doing so well, Orion, of splitting up Jokers that. And then taking advantage of it. You know, Sad's been building up said Dragon so fast. Because of that, there's the bomb. Does actually try. There was a stun. There's almost synergy between Synergy's bomb. Wasn't quite to be, though.
Yeah, it nearly came through. Unfortunately, didn't. Sweat taking out Sad, but there's a little bit of a back cap going on. Lotus Goose managing nearly gets 2 ticks. The kills are going in the way of Squelch right now. Squelch on the Tracer, trying to take Synergy out of the mix. Sweat dead-eyeing just to confirm that kill. They get the second tick. Sad coming back on the Doomfist, and they do manage with 23 seconds.
A possibility.
We could still draw.
Oh gosh. I want to point out that beautiful, absolutely amazing nade, by the way. That anti-nade from Eggs with Legs catching 3 members. Big ones too, Squid, Synergy, and Cosmic, of course. And because of that, even though they took down Gat, they were still so low that Squelch got to come in and take out those 3 picks very, very early on. And they were just able to push up from there. Even when they didn't have a main tank, neither did Orion. So now we're switching it up a little bit. We're going to see the attack coming out from Orion this time. The defense will now be in the hands of the draw Nubus will now be in the hands, and the fate of us and our voices, Apara, will be balanced by Jokers and their defense, which seems to be Reinhardt. But Loose Goose instead, Gat. It's different.
Oh, yeah, interesting call. Gat on the Sigma, when we know Gat likes to play the Reinhardt, we'll see what value that brings to the table as these doors do start to open up. They just, literally all Orion need to do is have perfect synergy and get some really good pushes. So the fact that they've got synergy on their team already gives them an advantage. And Sweat gets a really good early kill onto Sad. Rose does bring them back though. So,
yeah, but that's res burnt down, so I don't know, you kind of take the good with the bad there of the res.
Yeah.
There's the dive that comes up. It's pretty good. It pushes off many members of the team, but it's not quite enough as Squelch is in that backline taking out Rose. Does get evened up though a little bit, but Rose a little bit more important.
yeah, looking at Sad's positioning, Sad getting the res and then gets such a perfect position onto that high ground, taking out 2. Now looking at Eggs with legs, and it is just going to be Gat trying to keep them alive. And now the dive can start coming back up and get real aggro onto Loose Goose. Synergy and Squid both looking for those kills. Meanwhile, Sad just slowly waiting it out, trying to find good opportunities to poke in damage from behind. That positioning is so smart. Squelch falls to Synergy, and here we go. This is going to be a pretty quick collapse upon right now, I think. Sweat struggling to find a good position with the Winston jumping in your face. The shatter just onto Synergy means that Loose Goose isn't going to get a lot of value, and now the slow push works out with Mercy getting bullied in that weak corner. That's all that's going to be left as this first point goes the way of Orion.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, once that Reaper has gone, that's just so much oppression that's just been lifted there because he can't dive onto a Reaper, and Reaper was around all the support, so them getting taken out by, I think it was Sad, who now has Tac Visor already, looking extremely strong on this 76. So many ults are about to be popped.
And there's the Tac Visor. Tac Visor coming out. Squelch trying to get a lot of damage in, but the Anti-Nade is going to gives them the value out of it. Galileo does take out Pika, and because of that, they might have a little bit more value in this push here. But with Galileo getting taken out now, it's going to be really difficult. 2CP, also known as Assault, is really well known just for those stalls on defense. Defense can come back so much quicker. Squelch drops a beautiful jet blossom taking out 3. What a great play by Squelch, and that's going to be an attack completely shut down. Did you see Squid's body go flying?
Oh, I didn't, damn it. Did it try and do a Galileo and reach for the stars?
Yeah, it did.
That's fantastic. It's a interesting tank lineup as well from Jokers. I just want to point this out. You know, you've got Gat with the only shield, and then Loose Goose with the Diva. You don't really see much of the Sigma Diva. I guess it has potential with a lot of being able to suck away a lot of the damage. But that bomb, that is not good. That's 2 members and 3 counting Sweat turrets has been MVP so far.
True. But now with Squid going into your spawn, taking out Sweat, this is going to make it really hard for Jokers to find any value. Self-destruct comes out, finds Galileo somehow. Gat and Squelch have both managed to come back to try and bring the fight on, but with the res by Rose is risky. Reses have really been coming through right now. Amplification Matrix comes out, and unfortunately the Molten Core is just not going to get any value on this point. We see X with legs coming in with Loose Goose just to make sure that this fight gets stalled out just a little bit longer, but Synergy getting the kills means that is going to be nearly all she wrote for a minute before X comes out, but taking out Cosmic, and there are now 3 on the board. Rose taken out as well. Self-destruct by Synergy onto the point, doesn't connect onto anyone, and Sad actually takes out Gat. Whilst Gat finishes off Squid, this fight is so good right now for the defense because they just have those better respawns, and you just gotta fall back now if you're Orion. You got 2 ticks. Be happy with that.
Say it with me, everybody. 2CP, ladies and gentlemen. 2CP. You can get a team kill and still only get 2 ticks from it. I mean, yeah, credit where credit is due from Jokers there, being able to contest the way that they did, coming back on the ball, which has now actually been swapped off, as well as Sweat onto the Doomfist, just all the stall characters, and it worked. They're now alive. Sad though, unfortunately, takes out Sweat. If you were Jokers, that's so much damage.
What a good shatter! They tried to boot Squid away, but Squid managed to get into a good angle to avoid that shield. Beautiful stuff. Death Blossom coming through though, finishing off Cosmic, and Gat can get a good fire strike with the Nano. Deadeye comes out, doesn't connect onto much. Sweat managing to finishing just on time, and unfortunately, what opened up with such a good kill onto Sweat doesn't get the value that was wanted.
Doesn't get much, but it does force out a couple of ultimates. Although Orion's not looking too crash hot either. You do have the Matrix, though, to be used, possibly, helping Sad and Galileo get those crucial picks. I mean, Sad definitely can land those headshots and just turn fights around.
And with Gat Shatter coming out, it connects onto so many members. Galileo gets charged into an immortality, so lives for a little bit longer. But Squid falling down does mean that Gat can just press W, left mouse button, and roll over the enemies of Orion.
Oh. Yeah, and that really helped to build up that ultimate deficit that they had. Jokers, they're now eggs with legs, beautiful heals, enough to build another nano there. You've also got Sweat 80%. We'll be able to go a little bit more aggressive now because you can always ultimate. What is Doomfist ultimate, Napara? This is why I got you. Which one? Meteor Strike. Yeah, you'd be able to Meteor Strike out from the backline after taking out a support, for instance.
And out comes an immortality early, which is really good value for Jokers right here. And Galileo does get Squelch, however. That's really good. That opens them up. They managed to finish off Sweat as well. And with the Amplification Matrix, they've really been opened up to try and get some kills. Out comes the grab. The Nano just to keep Gat alive, but the grab drag is really good. Gat is being bullied on point right now, and it's just a Nano that's keeping him alive. Sweat has now returned, manages to take out Galileo, and we're seeing a little bit of 2CP come through right now as Death Blossom by Squelch takes out Sad. There's the Meteor Strike you were talking about as well, and this is looking really good for the defense right now, as they were so desperately trying to get this defense so they can stay in this match. They managed to take it 2-2, and because of that, we're going to see a fifth map.
Oh my god.
Wow!
Victory! I'm speechless. Honestly.
Jokers, bring us the fifth map.
Jokers, we go the distance. We do all 5.
At least it wasn't a draw, Pep.
I guess, yes. If one team had to win, at least it was a team. And not the map, but one.
Such a good way to put a draw is the map one.
The map beats the players.
Yeah.
Oh, this is such a good match. I love it. I absolutely love it. Bees did warn us. Bee was just like, this is going to be intense. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this thing. It's been absolutely fantastic. The stalls from Jokers, as well as no DC either, which has been really nice. You've had consistent ult charge throughout. Peak has come in, made a couple of good plays, and Gat and Loose Goose finally coming up with that sort of tank difference. It took a little while. It took 2 matches, but now it is possible on Oasis, not the reverse sweep, but at least a win. But they've got to contest with Orion, who have been playing exceptionally well.
The thing we have to look at is our first control map. Jokers did take it pretty well. They took it to 2-0. So if Jokers continue with that aggression on control again, Jokers may have this in the bag. However, Orion are looking strong now. Orion really could bring anything to the table. I think a major game player right now will actually be Pika. Pika valuing the Lucio, giving Gat a lot more value on Reinhardt.
Well, yeah, we actually recently did a Lucio Ball tournament, so he's probably just a bit warmed up on the loose over maybe perhaps over the other heroes. We did see a little bit of Mercy, but it's not quite the comfort pick as we saw. More opting for that Lucio, and it's working because you're able to dictate the speeds of fights. Whereas Orion, they kind of have to just hope for the best now because of the Lucio, although it seems that Rose is seeing the value in Lucio as we speak. And we'll be going Lucio themselves, so it's going to be a very, very intense fight. The difference maker here, Apara, will be Synergy on the Zarya, whereas Loose Goose will be taking the Diva instead, so eating up a little bit more of the damage, whereas Squid will be able to go a little bit more aggressive. Both teams opting to take the high ground pretty much immediately.
Yeah, both teams colliding up on the balcony right here. A good... Oh my gosh, so much damage through by a Squelch. Taking out 4, trying to find a 5th. Sweat helps them out, and Loose Goose finishing off Galileo. Team kill on the board right there.
What team? Like, I don't think Squelch hardly saw any of the plays. He was just, pre-firing, got so much damage in, and Galileo just can't do that the same amount of damage unless you got the LOS. So the Junkrat just worked a treat. 80% already a par on the board for Squelch, and it will be counting as they have the high ground Jokers, and they will just be able to pound down damage onto Orion.
Down drops Gat, but Gat finds a whole lot of turrets to the face. It brings so much damage. The supports do manage to keep Gat alive, though. We do see Loose Goose get denicked by Galileo, and that was a really good push to straight onto point, but the Shadow by Gat! Fire Strike on the Cosmic and a charge into Synergy. That push is done for.
That push is done for, but somehow Sad took out Pika, although they might be able to even it up as there is a little bit of a hunt down for Sad, but Sad somehow got him. Loose Goose did even it up, but Sweat now has to come back. And that was actually quite a big clutch there, because now you've got to sort of slowly roll back to the point, but Squelch does have that tire.
The tally onto high ground is met by a really good anti-nade. Beautiful response by Eggs with legs. Gat now charging into Loose Goose. Loose Goose about to be demexed, but the supports of Eggs are just doing phenomenal work right now. Out comes a Riptide by Squelch, and Squelch is putting in so much work. Nanoed Synergy has to find them, and this Junkrat has been so critical this fight.
So critical, this entire map, being able to have that high ground, the early win as well, already 80%. Now you got Loose Goose with the bomb, you've got the beat, you've got Sweat, now has of course the High Noon as their defense. They'll be able to just High Noon from above, see if they can get any picks.
Sad must be feeling a little bit sad about those dragons. No one was on the point, but the Shatter is really good. Out comes a self-destruct, and that point is so close to ticking over. There's a breath of heal.
Oh my god. Oh, Apara, wait, stop. You've put an effect on your mic. There's a nice little anti though that's fallen onto Gat and Loose Goose, but it doesn't work out. Squelch just clutched it up again. That's another kill. Although here comes the Graviton Surge, locking up two members. This might be able to do it. Sweat does High Noon onto Sad. Squelch trying to even it up. There's more players on point. 100% to 0. Squelch being able to clutch that out, and Sweat with the High Noon as well. That was hilarious. Apara, the announcement came forward. They were winning, and they won that pretty convincingly.
I heard my burp burp go off, which tells me that somehow my voice mod turned on. I don't know how that happened. I'm sorry about that. I immediately muted just for you there, Pat. That was
I got you. I was ready.
Yeah, I appreciated that. But wow, what a dominant fashion Jokers took that. And that's what I was talking. Jokers look so confident on control.
They do. They look so confident. Squelch, of course, why would you not stay on that Junkrat? As now we go on to the brawliest of the OCE maps, the Oasis maps. Sad liking the Junkrat as well. The big difference though is Rose is no longer on the loose here, so they can't dictate the speed of fights quite like Jokers can, but there will be a res available if they can get to it.
Squelch already trying to pump in so much damage in these small corridors here, but Galileo is going to be the initiator, taking out Sweat. Losing Sweat is going to make it really hard right now for Jokers, and so much damage is coming through from Sad on the Junkrat. However, Sad does get taken out. Synergy now finding the kill onto Eggs with legs, and the cap early for Orion, as this fight does just make the call to fall back.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. You also you have taken down Squid, might be back into the fight in time as they can charge from spawn, but it gives you that maybe 0.5 seconds difference of not having that shield, being able to just poke a little bit more, and it also gives up the space. You can't really hold choke as much as you would like to, and that gives Gat quite a lot of ult charge, actually already 90%, but Squid actually has that shatter, so we'll be seeing how that goes. But Cosmic falling, that's not good, you know.
Oh yeah, these kills are coming through now, but Sad is responding, taking out Sweat. Rose does go for a risky res again. We love that from them. The Shatter! Riptire! Incredible play by Sad and Squid. A Sad Squid leads to a Sad Jokers right now as they get absolutely removed from the table.
Yeah, that was a bit of a laughing stock of an attack. Anyway, I'll hand in my comedy card now. That was horrible. Gad still has the shadow, was able to hold on to it. Squelch as well, taking out Sad towards the end there. Probably will get rezzed up though, but that is a res that's been burnt down quite early here. You also have Beat, so that will help against Synergy, who now has that grab. And here it comes, the tire.
Out comes a Riptide grab, only connects onto Diva, doesn't get eaten, unfortunately. Riptide gets by Sad, a really good shutdown of that ultimate. Unfortunate for Squelch right now. The Shatter isn't getting too much either, and Squid gets Nano to stay alive. Out comes a Nano on to get as well. Self-destruct taking out 2. That's what you like to see, and the flip does go the way of the Jokers.
Yeah, 87%. Pika also did a little bit of the Reddit Lucio, and it worked out. I think the biggest thing, though, is Pika actually got to hold on to the beat there because it wasn't quite what they wanted, Synergy, with the grab. You know, didn't lock up the members that they really required. There wasn't much, you know, follow-up on it. Nice anti, does get extra legs, but they are able to back off. Here comes High Noon from the high ground.
Yeah, that Deadeye trying to just find anything. The shield breaks and gives Squid the opportunity to open up and take Squid out. And now we are going to see what looks like the Jokers just start to push up and make sure that this team cannot get any more value. Sad taken out. Even with losing Pika, I don't think it's going to bring too much value. Lucio can come back so quickly. But
they lost beat. That's the thing.
That is true, actually. And oh no, you're right. They're gonna opt to come in. Lucio can't. Oh
no,
they really lost beat.
They really
my
lost it now.
gosh.
They didn't just lose Lucio. They lost Pika. But how did he just get?
He got killed so badly. He got removed from the game. Synergy, can we talk about this?
He hit the 5th dimension and left.
Oh no, he's got a game bug.
Server bug. I hate that bug. I get that too.
Okay, well let's be real then.
Flat out removed. Okay, now it's all Orion. Like, I'm sorry, but with that, it's all on Orion now. Like, even when Pika came back, yes, there was that beat potential. But even if Pika comes back now, what are you gonna do? Maybe do that tiny little bit of healing against what have they got? They've got Tyre, which you could have beat it against, and you've also got Galileo as well with the High Noon, which once and if they get onto the high ground, they will be able to just demolish the rest of the team. This is just such a big loss for Jokers, and if you're Orion, you'd be absolutely just celebrating in that VC right now.
Yeah, it's one of those unfortunate things that you just can't control, but when it's not happening to you, you're so happy about it. On top of that, ultimates are looking really good for Orion as well.
Yeah.
They've got Riptide, they've got Deadeye, they've got Valkyrie. Like, they can just get real aggro now, and knowing Lucio is going to take a long time to come back, it seems like that player 5 slot is kind of a little bit cursed for Jokers, as Bees gets the internet issue. Now we've got a bug for Pika. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, I was about to actually say that. The main support role is just cursed for Jokers.
Yes.
Surely they put me in coach, right? Surely I go in as main
At this
support.
point, I think anything will work.
At this point, just put me in, right? Yeah. Surely.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's going to be really hard to push this back if you were Jokers. I don't know what you do. Do you just kind of give up the point, not lose any players, allow, 12 to 13 seconds to come up, and then sort of aggress once you have every player? Do you try and hang around a little bit more, make your presence known so they can't just walk and wander onto the field? There's so many different sort of thought patterns that Jokers could go down. But last time we were trying to guess where they were going with this, Jokers just kind of fell apart. So they're going to have to really have a good think about how they're going to approach this, especially because it's at such a crucial time in the match.
There's 13% remaining. They're gonna have to think about this perfectly.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to do here. In this position, do you have one player stall so everyone can group up? Do you try and get two people to touch? I mean, Jokers have shown us they know how to get that last minute touch and then win the match. If we go back to Ilios, they did
Mm.
that astoundingly. So they're not out right now. They're down, but they're not out. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we do see Jokers find some kind of value and make it work.
I mean, it's whether or not you kind of. I know this is a little bit morbid, but do you just throw in a towel on this map and go, "All right, that's unfortunate. We'll just go next,"
Mm,
because they have that other match underneath your belt, under your belt. So you can kind of go, okay, our tournaments, this match doesn't rely on us winning this. We'll try our best, but is it worth having your mindset on the next map at this point? Because it's so brutal losing Pika like this.
yeah, it's a mental game, and I think if anything, the teams will definitely know how to battle it out. They'll have the right call to make, and I don't know what it'll be. It could
Mm.
just be a look. Let's just give it to them. Make them feel good about themselves, then roll them on the last map. You never know. There's anything goes when it's OCE. Let's be real.
This is this is where you want the psychologist of the person on Orion to come through and help Jokers out. Be like, okay, I know how you feel, but we gotta push past our emotions. What we're gonna do anyway.
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
yeah, because I think I would at this rate be thinking about that next map. I don't think this is winnable for Jokers unless Squelch comes up huge. He is actually kind of close to that tire. Um, and because of that, maybe you can get like a cheeky, if this works, then we win. If this doesn't, we lose sort of flank onto Rose and onto Cosmic and even onto I mean, Sad would be the best person to take out here. But yeah, it's a bit of a head scratcher.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's going as far as the launcher being broken right now. This is really a bit of a struggle for Jokers just to have a main support in the game right now.
I'm about to send my screenshot to Gat. See if they can sub me in. Now, Pika, there you go.
Oh,
He's launched the Overwatch. See if we
here
can
we
get him
go.
in. Although,
Bless.
oh gosh, Exit Legs is close to Nano, so maybe you put Gat on point. You back right off, and then you just you keep Gat alive as he, tactically feeds, if that makes sense. So you can build up the Nano and then be able to sort of aggress back. Lull Orion into we've already won, false sense of security kind of thing. But the issue is, though, even if that does happen, you have so many ults for Orion to fall back
Mm.
on.
Yeah, the ultimate difference is where it's really gonna look at. I don't see how Jokers are gonna succumb this mountain that we're at right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, realistically, they're gonna have to find some kind of value here as we do now jump back into it. Out
Wow,
comes the
immediately
Riptide.
pops down.
Immediately, yep, Sad trying to find the kills, but Gat getting a good charge, trying to keep the even fight here, but with Rose's res, that's going to make it a lot harder for the stall, and with Loose Goose getting taken out, now it is just Pika. Pika's already back. They're back in action, just trying to stall out that time bank, and they did pretty well.
It was enough. It was enough. Now you've got Eggs with Legs with the Nano. They'll be pushing up with Squelch has the tire as well. You still have about 6 seconds, but you do have to push through quite a tough choke here. And it's all up to the tire. It's all up to this high noon as well. It's going to be brutal.
There's the tire taking desperately trying to keep the game alive, and that's what we talked about. Even when Jokers are down, they are not out. Squelch beautifully popping the tire, gets the Nano just for the fun of it. They're not done yet, 65%.
Yeah, not done yet, Apara. Certainly not. Gat actually still has the Shadow. Loose Goose with the bomb as well. And Sweat actually does have the high noon on the other side. Cosmic has a Nano of their own. And that's really about it as we're going into that sort of last fight territory, as these fights have been a little bit longer than what we've seen previously.
Yeah, these fights have been so back and forth, so critical, and this is the critical moment for Jokers right now. They want to take this map so they can just take the win right here. Nano comes out onto Squid, but a really good self-destruct. Oh, and did I? What are they gonna do? Sweat making sure no one's on the point right now to take this fight. It's just Synergy desperately trying to find any value, but no, there's nothing. As Jokers managed to get the win.
Oh my gosh, what a fight. You were right, Apara. I take my hat off. That was an incredible last couple of seconds that they played exceptionally well. Pika, despite not having ult, was able to buy an extra sort of 5 to 6 seconds, and that allowed a lot of the team to... Oh my gosh, Squelch. Oh my gosh, Squelch.
Wow.
That was just rude. Oh gosh. No, Squelch played an exceptional game now. There's no doubt about that.
I'm genuinely like lost for words about how incredible that game was. Jokers and Orion really brought us an amazing match. Even with the DCs, Jokers did not care. Pika just came back instantly, stored the point. Didn't even need the sound barrier.
I don't need no beat. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what to say.
There's not much to be said. It is an incredible game we just had. MVP before we head on to a little bit of a bio break, Apara.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll jump into a little break.
No, MVP. Who's your MVP? Just real quick. What
MVP?
Is it?
I mean,
what do you got to pick?
Sweet went. Oh, this is so hard. I don't even know. Sweet went off like crazy. Squelch was incredible in the last second calls. Pika coming in the last second just to be a sub. I don't know who to give it to. Eggs with legs. Incredible incredible anti-nades. That's what I'm saying.
You stole my pick. Okay, well, it's definitely eggs with legs if both of us agree, because I was about to say the way that they kept Gat up alive through all of this, through everything that might have happened was just incredible, especially on Oasis. They really came into their own. The nanos were perfect, the heals as well. So congratulations. You don't really get anything except our appreciation for putting on such an amazing show. We will take a break. Make sure to stay hydrated during said break, and we'll be back when it's Valhalla versus Mad Hatters in Div 3, and we thought Div 7 was intense. We'll be right back.
Yeah, blocks out the Deadeye. They're going to break a little bit through. Oh no, Myra slept. Still holding on to that Graviton Surge and Earth Shatter out.
Shiny Hero going down early is not a good start.
Oh yeah, this is backfiring instantly. Taking out Temple. Oh, that's a big Diva Bomb.
Oh, great Graviton, and here comes Immortality! And of that Orisa, they're able to start moving the way forward.
Reflect. Amy took Grizz out of the fight
To take down Ghostly.
Taken down by good EMP there from the side.
Other things, but he said no, and would no!
Blade does come through, cleans up Merrick, cleans up Don.
Kicks there as big ones, and Ghostly gets 2. Diva Bomb, that might do a bit of damage. It does.
Great job here. Deadeye as well to cover up a different angle.
Sided gets 3! No, this is not happening! So 100% he's close. Ghostly will get 2. Like they're gonna use a
I don't believe and 1 HP are your Ascent champion. Welcome back, one and all. I hope you got some snacks and a couple of drinks, because we've got another amazing match lined up for you. We've got the Mad Hatters versus Valhalla. This is going to be a fun one. It's our Div 3 map, and I'm just going to jump straight into the players that we're going to be watching today. Starting off with Mad Hatters. Their manager is Ryden. Their captain is Richter. And so on the main tank, we're looking at Arctic Wolf and Pinecone on that off tank. Their DPS lineup is going to be Rory on the hit scan and Richter on the flex. And then to lead their support, they have Athena on the main support and Kawaii 50 on flex support. A little bit about Mad Hatters. They contain the combination of Mythion Poseidon support line and the SGU Battalion tank line. And they've only played as one team for 3 to 4 weeks. So they got a bit of new synergy that they're going to want to be building, unlike our previous teams who've been playing quite a bit. They like to call Kawaii 50 feeder, and they think they need to be benched. So that could be pretty interesting to see, a support feeding a bunch. It could be quite interesting. And they all have an intense dislike of ball players, which puts them at odds with their org owner Escape, who only plays ball. And it'll also be interesting to see if Valhalla runs any balls, just to get them angry.
They're watching this stream like, oh yes. Yeah. Speaking of Valhalla, we have the manager of Catry. Captaining this team is Not Your Waifu, and coaching will be Strategia. And so the teams, we got for tank, we've got White Hammer and Julian for main tank and off tank respectively. For hit scan DPS will be Superior, and then BTs will be the flex DPS. Not Your Waifu, the captain, will be main supporting, and Apple will be your aim support. And maybe not, if there's a couple of OCE lags and crashes, we will have a sub DPS, and I think they can also play a little bit of the support as well. A200 Miss Smile, which is quite a name. A little bit of a quick info on them. They came together at the start of this year, so that's a good 7 months. But some players have been on teams together previously, so they've had time to get that communication up. They're really a tight-knit team. They've known each other for a while and queue together every night. And I know the coach gets dragged into that, and manager alongside. 3 of the 7 have cursed OCE internet. They swear they don't play on a Mac's Wi-Fi, and they average 5 DCs a scrim. So it's a miracle if they can get through it with only 2. So we're in for a wild ride, Apara. Which one will be cursed? Which role, or is it the entire team this time round? And then oh gosh.
It's going to be interesting to see how these DCs make them play against Valhalla. Hopefully we don't have too many. I think we've had enough for one night. We've had the DC limit, and hopefully this game doesn't go. Hopefully this game doesn't go too late into the night for me, because I am in New Zealand. It's nearly 11:30. So hey, Mad Hatters, I just appreciate it if you didn't DC. I will pay for your internet providers to not let you have that happen, please.
They're allegedly also starting a GoFundMe just for this reason as well,
Yeah.
for the team's sake, they can get better internet. All right, let's jump into the game, and while we're getting that together, just really quickly, the map pool will be exactly the same, but it all depends on whether or not what the teams pick. We had Hollywood and Dorado last time, but we could always have the Blizzard World and Havana.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if any of those map picks switch up depending on what these teams like to run. I mean, Valhalla, they're kind of, at least to me, showing off what they might want to be playing. They've got the Ryan Diva icons, then they've got a Hanzo Tracer icon and an Ana Lucio icon. So if that's the comp we see, thank you, Valhalla, for telling me. It makes me sound like I know what I'm talking about. But we're going to move into Ilios. What do you think we'll see on Ilios?
Everything. No, I think I've cast White Hammer before. I swear I have, and they were a very, very good Reinhardt. And we've seen quite a lot of very, very good Reinhardts. So, how will they play this on Ruins? I don't know. But it's not to say that they won't play the Winston. We haven't really seen much poke. It's just not very strong at the moment, Apara. And yeah, it seems that we are going to the dive. We've got the Winston and the Diva on either side, I believe. And a little bit of a switch between the DPS Rory and BTs will be going onto the Reaper and Sim, respectively, on either team. And then we've got the double Sombra into the backlines, trying to take out the same supports of Moira and Lucio, possibly just hacking the Lucio that stops the heals completely, or hacking, Rory that will stop him from being able to escape. There's just so many options. Even a Winston or a Diva is just so detrimental, not just to their health, but also to the feeding ultimates to the enemy team.
Man, this mirror matchup, this is going to be interesting. It is purely just going to be a little bit of mechanical skill and group work that comes through right here. The hack onto Pinecone, and meanwhile, White Hammer was hacked, but finishes off Arctic Wolf, their Winston counterpart. Now they're getting really aggro onto the supports, and Athena just gets walked all over by White Hammer. White Hammer now finding Richter as well, and they are just now falling back. They're not even wanting to cap point.
No, that's the point.
Thank you, Superior.
We go aggressive. Yeah, I like this little soft dive as well that they've taken up for the next fight. Oh, they closed out on the monkeys so quickly from Mad Hatters. Here they go again.
Oh yeah, this fight is just instantaneous. White Hammer popping the Primal Rage, getting so aggro, pushing everyone around. And this team displacement is going to make it a little bit easier for Valhalla to try and find picks. Coalescence comes out, just burning through Athena right now. And yep, White Hammer managing to finish them off. Pinecone has to pop himself destruct just to make sure that they don't get killed. But in the meanwhile, Arctic Wolf gets found by a little bit of a Reaper. And that is going to be all the way to spawn doors that get pushed.
Yeah, spawn door, Kiss the Spawn Door challenge has been successfully completed by Valhalla. Although Mad Hatters, they now have a couple of ultimates of their own. You get Richter in the backline, possibly, getting a big EMP, even just on the tanks, just wipe them out. They've been so good at the aggression. Here comes the EMP.
EMP countered by a little bit of a coalescence, but the Death Blossom on both sides, but Rory finds a little bit more value. Beats not so happy about losing that Death Blossom, and now they are slowly able to start pushing Mad Hatters, going towards point, trying to get the kills here, but the supports are keeping Julian up, and they are managing to keep this fight alive. Self-destruct on the point, no one gets picked off by it, but now the rest of Valhalla are back, and with the sound they can initiate and get really aggro. Beatus already getting up in their face. Athena responding with the sound barrier of their own, making sure that their team is not going to fall over. Pinecone has to self-destruct once again, this time finding Superior, taking them out of the match. And that's going to be really good. There's a huge pick right now for Mad Hatters, but they need to find anything as this timeback is slowly ticking up more and more. Athena now taking out Not Your Waifu. This is looking good for Mad Hatters. Finally, the stall was beautiful, and they got 97% for Valhalla.
It was beautiful. Valhalla did a beautiful stall there. And they used a couple of ults to try and get it to 97%. Honestly, it's just worth it, especially the tank of White Hammer and Julian. They've been really good at taking the aggression. Superior has been really great with those hacks, but you do have the coalescence, and they will be pushing on this, but Richter falling.
Oh, yeah, these 2 kills, Athena falling now too. And there's a little bit of a back cap by Apple to try and get this point flipping early. I don't think anyone realizes, and now Pinecone and Arctic will realize just on the end. But actually, because of that, they managed to get the kills at the up at the archway and keep point.
Yeah, that was actually incredible, especially because Mad Hatters at one point didn't know where the heck to look to try and take out Valhalla, but they've still got the point, and because of that, the ultimates have come up. Rory and Richter, there will probably be an EMP Death Blossom, because it will be huge.
There it is, Richter pops the EMP, connecting onto all of the players. Rory pops the Death Blossom, unfortunately a little bit late, so Julian could get a bit of defense matrixing, at least keeping them alive, and the staggering. This is what you hate to see as Diva.
Oh, yeah, this is the Div 3 of just, yeah, nah, you're not getting back into your mech. We're going to wait as long as possible here. And, but Valhalla, they have a couple of ultimates of their own, pretty much the mirror now. You've got Superior with the EMP, and then Beatus will be able to get that Death Blossom into the back line. Can it be a 6k? But a massive pick from Richter. That's no EMP. I don't even know if you can push this, to be honest. Julian gets hacked as well, so the aggression can come forward.
Yeah, no, they absolutely are not going to want to take this right now. Pinecone throwing out a self-destruct, landing so perfectly to take out Whitehammer. Now they're the ones who's playing Kiss the Spawn Door. And with only 10 seconds left, someone's going to have to desperately try and get the touch. Apple is going to be the one that opts to do it. Desperately wall riding to point, manages to do a perfect roll out there. Really good to see. But once again, Rory and Kawaii 5-0, and there's our first DC of the night.
Once again, a pause, just as a big EMP lands on, I think it was only one player, actually. No, two.
It got both tanks.
But yeah, DC, there we go. There's the first DC. Yeah, got both tanks. I don't know, can you make something out of this? Possibly not. They'd already lost both healers here. And even if the tanks don't really fall, yep, Valhalla, there's the first DC of the night. Whitehammer goes down.
We're in for a long one, Pap. This is first point, first match.
First map,
of the series.
Oh boy, we might have to get people from America to cast this where they've only just waking up.
Yeah.
But yeah, because of the big hit onto both supports, Apple was really close to his ult, and so was not your wife, who actually had Coalescence, so they've lost both. Mad Hatters are looking mad good with their ultimates. They've got both support ults, they've still got the EMP, and I don't really think Arctic Wolf and Pinecone will really get much damage onto them, despite the EMP really coming out here. Especially with a player DCing, like Whitehammer going, that just removes Winston pretty much completely from this last fight. Like, yeah, you can jump, but that's about it. Like, you can't even really come back as Ball very quickly because of the slight nerf. When you come out of spawn, you don't instantly have grapple, so it's going to be it's going to be harder to get back to point. But we'll see how it goes, Apara.
Yeah, out comes the Coalescence straight off the bat, and Quay 5-0 is absolutely just going to finish it off. Beatus trying desperately to find any sort of last-minute stall value there, and what looked like a really good domination at the start might not come out at the end right here. We do have that amount of stall, however. It's not your waifu now popping the Coalescence. Apple can't stay alive in it, though. And it is just desperately trying to get any value. Superior touching his trace, but that time bank is gone.
That time bank is gone. They just had to play. They just played the long game, Mad Hatters.
Yeah.
Really.
They waited for the DC. They knew it would come.
The DC clutch. I mean, let's be honest. The DC, it wasn't really that clutch. I think the Winston was only really just coming out of spawn there. But it did allow Mad Hatters to have a little bit of think, how are we going to approach this? There's only about 3 players left alive for Valhalla. We're now on to Well, though, and Mad Hatters Richter will be going on to the Echo instead. Then you've got Superior and BTs. They're still going to stick on that Reaper. There is a Tracer, though, and I do like a Tracer on Well. There's so many different corridors and avenues you can explore here, and we will be keeping the dive tanks. The only real difference I can see is the Ana from Quay 5-0, which will, the nano onto Arctic Wolf will help. But then again, like, would the aggression from the Moira be more? Let's find out.
Yeah, and Beatus already just walking over these tanks, taking Arctic Wolf out immediately. But Athena getting the boop onto Whitehammer. Did they? Oh, there goes Pinecone. Okay, Shaq, we had a prediction on who's gonna win, but can we have a prediction on how many DCs we're gonna have?
Can we get that a Twitch poll up? How many DCs? Like, put a range. Go like 1 to 5, 5 to 10,
Yeah.
10 to 15. I don't know how many we can have, but 10 to 15 and 15 plus. Because at this rate, we've had one a map, and we've only just started well.
Yeah.
So we can get that prediction, even just in chat. Just whack a random number in, and sure, if you get the exact number, we'll give you a clap. But this has been what? Anyway, both monkeys are down. Both all are back, but Mad Hatter's lost a player. Even though they were pretty much even Stevens, now you kind of have to back up. It was Pinecone, the diva, that fell, because that's the off tank that was actually left alive after both Winstons died pretty early into that fight. Will allow the early cap from Valhalla.
Yeah, and I mean, they're already wanting to get aggressive. Athena and Pinecone getting up close and personal, but Beatus is going to be the one that punches Rory in the face, taking them out of the match right now. Whitehammer getting so much support from Not Your Waifu, and I think that's where that Moira difference is just coming through. Whitehammer can just jump onto Arctic Wolf, and Moira can pump out so much more heals. It's just the difference maker right now.
Yeah, and also I think we can't forget the loose as well. Like, you can speed around the Moira, you can speed your Reaper into the fights, whereas, you know, for Mad Hatters, you kind of have to make your own way into the fights. The Brig is purely there to stop Whitehammer from just freely diving Yana, but it's not really stopping that dive from happening, and because of that, you've now got Whitehammer's Primal.
Out comes a really good anti-nade, making the Coalescence really hard to get much value, but Not Your Waifu just decides to use it for damage, taking Kawaii 5-0 out. There are no more supports on the board for Mad Hatters, as Valhalla are just looking super dominant at the start once again. Pinecone, though, really desperately trying to make something work, and with that duplication, there are now 3 divas on the map, 2 for Mad Hatters, and this Rector can build up a really quick self-destruct, and so there are going to be 2 happening at once. One just thrown into the air, finds Superior, another self-destruct from Julian. How many bombs can you have in one match? Probably less than what we're going to have as DCs. Kawaii booped into the well by Apple, and Sound Barrier just to desperately try to keep this fight going. Apple's doing a really good job. Athena now having to get aggressive onto the Lucio just to stop it, but the rest of Valhalla can return with the Whitehammer falling into the well. Pinecone getting the kill just before he can make it across, and now it is just Julian. Finally, Mad Hatters get the point.
This is just deja vu from Ruins, though.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here. They, what Mad Hatters again, they're like Farlap. You know, you pull them back until you're about to lose the race, and then you just let it fly. And that's what we're seeing. They're finally capped 96%, and they still have a couple of books to fall back on with the pulse. And the poke is already coming through.
Yeah, no, absolutely. A lot of poke coming through, and I don't know whether it was your side or mine, but there was a lot of robot coming through as well. Rory getting taken out by Whitehammer, and a good primal rage for Arctic to try and just make sure that this push is not happening. That is absolutely devastating. Who sounds good and bad? Do I sound good to you, Pap?
I don't know if you're getting that as well. I'm getting like mad.
Pap, I think. Yeah, we have lost Pap, so I think I think he's back now.
Am I back? Oh no.
Here we go. Well, we've got the tanks going head to head at the well once again. Whitehammer trying to get aggressive, popping the primal. Do see Diva fall. No, Athena even fall off the map. Diva manages to fly back on just on time. Coalescence coming through to support Whitehammer, and Whitehammer's primal is so perfect. That's really good to see there. Taking out the majority of the players. We got a wee bit of a duplicated Diva. Taking out 3! Absolutely devastating, but Beatus trying to keep it alive with the Death Blossom, and I think they might be able to. Rory, all that's left, pumps the Pulse Bomb. Oh, Rob going into the map, doesn't manage to get back on point, and this is such a good stall coming through by Mad Hatters last minute, and yes, you are back, Pat. Yay! I believe.
Oh no!
OCE, please!
Who called out the caster DC? That's right. Nobody. I hit 10 frames a second. I just want to throw that out there. What the hell is going on?
Man.
Like, honestly, Apple, there, nice boot. Sorry about that, everybody. We'll restart playing PC after this. No, God damn.
That's the hardest part about stuff like that. It's like I'm like, okay, I hear robot. Am I the robot or is Pap the robot? I don't know.
I thought you were roboting.
Yeah.
Because like, what were they doing? The Overwatch heroes. They were kind of going boop 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 all over the screen. I'm like,
Oh,
yes,
no.
things ain't looking crash hot, gamers.
Yeah.
Well, we're back, and it doesn't look great for Mad Hatters losing Pinecone, and the point being at 96%. It's like, and Apple also with the beautiful Pinecone technically got a faster respawn. Actually, if you think about it,
True.
technically. But here comes
They
the
do get the touch. Yeah, Sound Barrier comes out and Whitehammer getting aggressive again. They need to make sure they actually get the kills this time, though, as Arctic Wolf is now looking at Apple. Apple doesn't manage to get the boot, but Julian pops a self-destruct to take Arctic Wolf out. And now we're going to see Pinecone get burnt up in this back corner, manages to get away back to the supports to stay alive, and a really good nade is going to keep up Athena. Rory manages to take out the counterpart of Tracer, and Julian's going to be the one that's putting in the work, however, for Valhalla. Valhalla desperately want to get this map so that they don't go down one map in the series already, but Beatus taking Richter out could be all they need. Pinecone pops the self-destruct, someone has to touch so that overtime doesn't disappear, and Beatus managing to, Beatus trying not to fall into the well, but getting pushed off the map. Julian eats a pulse bomb to make sure nothing happens, and these ults are just not working out in anyone's favor right now as Beatus gets taken down during the Death Blossom, and now it's looking really good for Mad Hatters as we just see desperation of Coalescence and Primal Rage. Nano onto Arctic Wolf, however, is going to bring a lot of damage, and now Apple and Not Your Waifu just trying to find anything. They're back, but Pinecone's getting the kills. One by one, they continue the stool, which means I cannot stop talking, but there it is. Pinecone finishing them off, and that is a good first round. And it seems like we still don't have Pap potentially. So yeah, no, incredible stalls coming through by both teams, and it seems like the minute Mad Hatters manage to get the point, they can just hold it really, really well. It's really good to see the way that they're being able to just stall out and hold this point once they get it. Valhalla also really good at capping point and stalling point, but Mad Hatters just coming through clutch at that last second. I mean, Valhalla had that perfect moment where Whitehammer popped the Primal Rage, taking out 2, but then there just wasn't enough kills to come through to take out the remaining players. And even with the DCs, I mean, Mad Hatters managed to take out Pinecone DC twice, Whitehammer DC'd once, Pap's now DCing all around, so it's pretty devastating stuff. OC Internet is not loving us right now. Hopefully we can get a bit more stable for these next couple of matches coming up. And it looks like Valhalla is going to be making that map choice here. They have a decision between, I believe it was Hollywood and Blizzard World. Looking at what they like to run, that Reinhardt Diva, I do have a feeling they might almost prefer going to Blizzard World, because Blizzard World it doesn't give so much value to like a Winston Diva match. And so that's going to be really interesting to see here. It looks like we might be going to just a quick break as we all try to sort out all of the internet issues. You know what? Australians, just move to New Zealand. The internet's great here. I think that's all you got to do. But yeah, I think we'll move to a quick break just to see whether we can sort out a few internet issues. And it looks like we're back. It looks like we're all stable. Welcome back, everyone. We just had an incredible match. Mad Hatter's taking the first map and going so crazy that they took Pap out of the Discord for us.
Yep, I got completely removed. Pap.exe stopped working. My computer went black, and I'm like,
no.
This isn't supposed to happen. Yeah, you know it's bad when even Discord.
Oh, and we're losing him again, unfortunately. That's not a good sign. Hopefully he can recover. But you know what? Maybe just maybe I'll have to take this all on my own here for tonight. Who knows? But it looks like, just so everyone is aware, we're going to be moving into Blizzard World for our next map. It's going to be a pretty interesting map to see. And I thought that might be what they want to run, considering Valhalla do like that Reinhardt. They've got the Reinhardt
goes down
icon
as well.
least,
I
so...
couldn't hear any.
Oh, is he? No, he's kind of not back.
Back?
I think he's back now.
Kind of back. I'm not back. Am I kind of back? I can't
You are
tell.
back.
Okay.
Well, I think you're back. We'll graciously hope you're back.
Oh no. Okay. At this point, it's a podcast.
I can't. Okay, no, I don't think he's back. Unfortunately, we are still losing Pap here. This is going to be very interesting to see how we go through as we try to either recover Pap or maybe see whether anyone is around to recover. But yeah, moving into Blizzard World. Blizzard World is going to be very interesting. There's a lot of potential there's a lot of potential pushes and ways they can go around. So I can't take the robotic Pap hearing him laugh right now. Yeah, there's a lot of potential ways that they could push it. And with the Reinhardt Diva, I think we are a bit of a cast it down. Do we want to? I don't know whether
Let's go. Let's go.
We want Bloodborne to do the casting.
I'm already here. We're playing.
Okay, let's do it. Bloodborne casting. We'll make it work.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right, Mr. Producer Man.
Well, I am ready for this. Okay, Bloodborne, tell us about Blizzard World.
Blizzard World, my most hated map of all time. You know what? I'm going to do what Papadaka does. Kidneys are good for you. That's all I've got. God. That's the best I've got.
No. Oh no! Please, Pap, come alive, please, Pap. No, but okay, so yeah. Essentially speaking, I think Valhalla made the right decision choosing Blizzard World over top of Hollywood. Hollywood has a lot of high ground that can value something like Arctic Wolf's Winston. But I mean, both players did really well on the Winston, but Arctic Wolf did seem to come on top just a little bit more. It does seem like that this map on Blizzard World is going to be a really good call. They also are opting to sub in A200 MS Smile in for their DPS right now. So with all these DCs going in and around, hopefully this 200 MS player doesn't also DC on us. That's a little bit of fear that I've got right now.
Yeah, look, you know, OCE servers, they're not the most reliable at the best of times.
Yeah.
It's
exactly right.
Look, the good thing is Pap does have internet. It's just only workable on his mobile phone, apparently.
Well, let's install mobile Overwatch, you know, get Pap spectating there, get on mobile Discord, awful audio quality, but at least we got the casting.
That's the best we're going to get tonight, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we watching? What's going on
We're
here?
watching a little bit of Overwatch, and
yeah,
it's going to be interesting. I don't know what to say, Bloodborne. I don't know what to say.
It's you know, it's just an interesting time for everyone, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Pause straight away, and this pause is going to be good to just have a look at the comps right now, as we've got Whitehammer on Sigma and Julian on Wrecking Ball. If they opt to run this comp, it seems like it's going to be a bit of Wrecking Ball just throwing people around, and then the Sigma trying to get damage as the rest of the team gets displaced, which is interesting. I thought Whitehammer was going to run the Reinhardt, but forcing Arctic Wolf onto the Reinhardt.
Okay, no, let's take it from the top here. Come on, we got Richter on the Mei. I couldn't be more excited right now to see Mei.
Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna cast Mei. If we could just focus in on the Mei for the next 4 minutes, it's a Mei cast. Thank you for the head
Absolutely, just stay on the Mei right now. Yeah, this Richter play could be really good. I mean, the Mei will blocking people off, making it so that you pick up one tank nice and quickly. It'll be interesting to see how they respond. Julian looking to go the high ground with Tracer, a little bit of potential coordinated dive, but that just means that the rest of Mad Hatters are going to rush in onto looks like Beatus, and Beatus getting taken out right away. Applefuls to Pinecone. They saw the flank push by Wrecking Ball and Tracer, and they just knew they could run in and take out the remaining players.
Så gott som ny.
That is, if you want to wait. Bloodborne, Bloodborne, are you even in the game? I just realized.
I'm in the game.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I'm bringing in reinforcements.
Okay, great. We got reinforcements coming on in. Oh,
Hap is here.
Hap the reinforcement. We got a little bit of a fire strike going down into Whitehammer onto the Sigma right now. Julian getting frozen up by Richter, and that Mei choice is so perfect right now. Dynamite onto Richter though, and this is looking really good for Valhalla as they start to get aggressive. Ash taking out 2, and that's going to be perfect. Beatus now finding the kills, and Tracer following up A200 MS, and that is going to be first point capture. I don't know who I'm casting with right now. I got 3 options. Oh no.
Hi, Para. Oh, I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm so sorry, chat. I'm actually on another account. I don't know why that would work. Maybe the gods of Overwatch will let me. I didn't really see much of that fight, but I did see A200 has subbed and already popping off with a pulse bomb.
Yeah, absolutely. Out comes a good Gravitic Flux just to pick up Athena, but I mean, if they can get the kill onto them, which they do, Beatus finishing them off, and Beatus on this Ash is absolutely nasty right now, taking out Pinecone from the mech as well. Can they find the 3rd kill? They do, punching Pinecone out of the fight.
Yeah, that was a really, really good attack there, especially after losing Pinecone as well, being able to still win that fight. I'm loving Julian on the ball as well. Already got the mines for the next fight. We'll be able to zone a few players of Mad Hatters sort of away. That Ice Wall didn't really get as much as I'm sure they wanted. That's a beautiful minefield into the middle of their team.
Arctic has to put the shield up to keep himself alive, and it gets the shatter off. We do see Transcendence comes through to keep the team alive, and there's where Julian's minefield comes through. Rory getting found at the last second. Blizzard comes out to burn through any remaining players. The boop onto Whitehammer to throw them down onto the ground, and Julian finishing off the remaining stragglers of Valhalla. I mean, of Mad Hatters.
Yeah, no, that was actually a really nice minefield. It might not have really paid dividends immediately, but it certainly came up strong once the Transcendence was pushed through. And I noticed that actually they have some low heals, so they do have to wrap up fights quite quickly. Valhalla and is working a treat. Rory, though, does have High Noon, and they have both support ults. So Mad Hatters, this is the time to defend.
And out comes a really good rally comboed with the Bob. That's going to be a lot of pressure for Mad Hatters, but Arctic Wolf is trying to make it work. But that Gravitic Flux is going to be painful as they drop down 2 and get the cap mid-flux. Beautiful plays.
Beautiful. Has this cart stopped, Tafara?
I don't think so. Not really.
It's been so that rally keeping everybody alive, especially like a Trace is scary enough, and then adding an extra 100 shields or armor, excuse me, to the Trace is just absolutely brutal. Now A200 will be able to get flank into the back line, possibly get a stick onto the Ana of Mad Hatters, perhaps, as they don't really have many ults, Mad Hatters, to really fall back on. It's going to be really, really hard to defend here.
Yeah, Arctic Wolf falling so low as well, and Beatus dynamite now burning through Arctic Wolf. The fire's gonna make the Arctic melt right now from that dynamite. Athena trying to hide around the corner, hiding from White Hammer's just wee little orbs of pain. Self-destruct, I think that wasn't the way you wanted it to go, but it does clear out the minefield, fortunately. Julian's minefield not getting much value. Arctic Wolf jumping on just on time, and a really good anti-nade means that White Hammer falls. Transcendent can't save you from an anti-nade, unfortunately, Apple. But Apple is managing to keep the remaining players alive from Valhalla as Beatus is burning through Rory, trying to find a little bit more damage into Pinecone. Athena and Kawaii just desperately try to keep this fight alive. Julian getting anti-naded is going to make it harder for Julian to keep it up, but Pinecone getting stunned. Pinecone is going to fall very shortly as the rally comes out to finish them off. But there is a post bomb by Rory, and their defense are close. They could come back quickly. The attacking team do have a bit of a harder time coming back. Richter has to force out. Oh, no! Richter's duplicate meant they couldn't get on in time.
Apple got like the last couple of meters there. Oh my gosh, I must admit, Valhalla are playing an exceptionally good game. 4 minutes remaining on the time bank. That's basically what you start with. It's not me. Apara, I didn't DC.
Yeah. Oh, bless.
But now we have
caster.
I'm so sorry. I can't apologize enough. Now we have to look at Seizure McGee over here, 0 to 3, just blaring on the screen. Anyway, Valhalla, that was a beautiful attack. I don't think the cart really stopped until the last second there. Even when you lost a couple of players to pulses and monkeys, you were still able to stay alive despite the lower side of heals. I mean, Brig can definitely provide it, but you know, usually without an Ana, those sort of longer fights, they tend to go in the way of, say, you know, Mad Hatters in this case, where you have the Ana, you have also the Brig, so more sustained. But I think the Discord orbs were just enough to push that cart over the line. And who can forget, of course, the DPS of Valhalla have been playing exceptionally well, getting those picks really quickly without taking too much damage, especially when you're on that Tracer.
Yeah, Beatus especially, putting in a lot of work. I'm really impressed right now from Beatus especially. Incredible dynamites and really good shots coming through. So if they can put that into the defense here, this could be a pretty quick Blizzard world for Valhalla. Mad Hatters are going to have to put in a lot of work to try and match that time bank. So it'll be interesting to see how they combat that.
Yeah, no, indeed. Especially, I mean, it was such an aggressive attack. Will it be an aggressive defense? Do you hold up really close here? You know, White Hammer and Julian, will they stay that ball monkey that we saw a lot of? No, they will not. They will go poke. We haven't actually seen much poke so far during this AAOL stage stream. So now we will see Beatus and A2 Miss Mile be able to just poke down, especially with Julian. It's the double shield. Everybody knows it with the Baptiste, keep everybody alive. Obviously the team to look out for will be the attacking team. How will they break through double shield, just cancer in general? I'm not the biggest fan, but hey, it really does work when it works. Arctic Wolf and Pinecone will try and dive in with Rory and Richter doing a little bit of that flank. And then you've got the Ana and Mercy just to support you. Mercy will probably be sticking with Richter as Athena damage boost.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing right now. A little bit of, not really pharmacy, eco-mercy. I don't know what to call it, but we'll make it work. Richter trying to find a couple of picks early on. Doesn't really connect the sticky bombs onto too much, but already Arctic Wolf and Pinecone have taken the higher ground, managing to avoid the dynamite from A200. And that's a really good way to play it. Beatus now opting for the Hanzo. Interesting to see that swap. And it could come to haunt them or it could come to help them. It's going to be interesting to see as they're really just slowly waiting for this push.
Yeah, I think it's really smart too because you just want Kawaii to get that nano, but that's not going to happen. Oh, Richter falling to Beatus. That was massive. Sleep onto the Arista though might be able to push this.
They do manage to bring Richter back, and that could mean that you can get onto an off angle and find the damage. A lot of damage goes on to Beatus, but not your wife, who just brings it back, and now they're just falling back.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do at that point once you lose a couple of those members? But Kawaii now does have the nano boost. but they will have to push past. Oh, there we go. Nano Boost onto Arctic Wolf, immediately gets stunned up though and pushed away.
Yeah, even a boulder coming out just to try stop, but Richter manages to find Beatus with a focusing beam, and so many ults are coming out now. Julian trying to pop the Gravitic Flux, but gets shut down by Pinecone, and you know what? It may have been slow, but they really managed to perfectly get it done.
Oh, patience. Yeah, 100%. You just got to wait for that nano, which was just the game changer, especially Richter and then Athena popping the Valkyrie. Yeah, Richter was able to get above everybody, a focusing beam, as well as, of course, the stickies. And now they'll be able to take high ground. Though Valhalla, which is where you want to be, of course, as Poke, giving as much distance and hoping that you're out of dive range. Because if you are, and this is how Valhalla sort of just collapsed, is as dive, you know, you can just come from every different direction. And, you know, Arista's barrier, while good, can only cover so much and only has 600 HP as well.
Yeah, but I mean, so far this payload isn't going to get super contested. It'll be interesting to see whether Mad Hatters can match their amount of aggression that Valhalla was doing. But they really want to play this dive slowly. They want to do it pixel perfectly, and that is the right call. But with Bob coming out, it's going to make it really hard for the supports to survive. Does get slipped up, and out comes the self-destruct, taking out 3 Pinecone. Perfectly placing that self-destruct, and now it is just going to be A200 MS that gets finished off with the dragons for a little bit of fun to stop anyone walking out of spawn.
Yeah, now you can just kind of nicely push the cart up. I don't even know if you can really contest here, especially with the double shield. They're not exactly the fastest and most mobile characters. You see Arista just kind of collapsing. Although, what? That's both supports. So maybe you can kind of just hold the point really close, although the rest of the team will be able to spawn very, very close now that they did get that cap, which at the end of the day is, of course, the aim of payload. So yeah, at least you have to Mad Hatters, although I don't reckon you can beat their time. Oh no, is something happening? I'm DCing. You said, oh.
You're a little bit robot-y, but we'll keep an eye on it. I'll let you know as this next push continues on. And you're exactly right. Even though the kills came through, their spawn door was right there. So much value just straight from that spawn door. Now Arctic's going to drop onto Julian, trying to get a kill, and yeah, Richter managing to focusing beam them down. A200 gets slipped during the Deadeye, and the amplification matrix gets so poorly positioned. I think that was a little bit of a misclick there. The anti-nade onto Whitehammer. The only thing keeping him up is an immortality that gets taken down by the sticky bombs. Now Beatus is all that's left and gets taken out. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to contest this properly.
I know, right? It's going to be really tough. It's basically like the roles have reversed. 3 minutes and 40 seconds to push this cart. Although you do have a couple of ultimates. Julian with the Flux could alone end this fight.
Yeah, and out comes the Flux, picks them up Transcendence as well to give Julian a bit of life. A200 just clicks the people flying in the sky, and that's a reset call if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty commanding, but they did have to use a couple of ultimates. They still have DPS ults, Valhalla, to fall back on here, but no support ults, unlike Kawaii, who now has the nano. And every time Arctic Wolf has had the nano, it's basically been a fight win. But you have had Arctic Wolf. I think I was saying Whitehammer the whole time. I meant Arctic Wolf. Whitehammer, however, is now on the Reinhardt, so it's a little bit harder to dive him. Oh, that's a beautiful sleep. Oh,
another really good sleep onto A200's Deadeyes. Rory now taking out Beatus, and the attacking team of Mad Hatters now, they're gonna be happy with what they've got. Richter popping the duplicate onto Reinhardt, colliding into Whitehammer head on, but not your wife, who removed from the fight right here. Jumping onto Apple, Arctic Wolf takes them out, and now it is a bit of an A200 Doomfist to try and get the stall with Julian on board. Julian in that baby diva form isn't going to stand a chance with Pinecone getting straight up in your face, and any sort of stall that's coming out right now is getting shut down just as quickly as they arrive. Not your wife who taken out. Pinecone just getting kill after kill. Shatter comes out by Whitehammer though, but it's not enough with the focusing beam coming down through onto you. Doomfist is not going to be able to survive Richter either, as Julian now gets demech'd, and it is just desperate. One by one by one.
Heroes too. Yeah. Now we've got them Hammond that come onto the point immediately, just burnt down here, same as Apple, who tried to go on to Zen, which is a little bit wishful thinking here. Diva's back though. Apara, this is just time burnt off at the end of the day. They will win this Mad Hatters, but look at the time that they've burnt. They've at least got a minute off the clock. Valhalla, that was a beautiful stall. Yes, it was. Yes, you guys lost, but you technically gained a minute off Mad Hatters, who were just charging forward with that 4 minutes remaining. That last stall cost Mad Hatters 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Just beautiful. I absolutely love the ball, then the Diva, and they were going one by one. Beautiful stall coming out there, and now we get to see the Valhalla attack, which was so strong the first time, Apara. I kind of missed the beginning, but my goodness, did A200 just absolutely pop off on that Tracer. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
No, I got it the wrong way around. Mad Hatters will be attacking first. My apologies, but he will be playing Tracer. We'll be playing Tracer though.
We will see that Tracer come back from
20%
Rory and A200.
right.
Yeah, you're nearly there. But yeah, because of that shorter time back, we definitely do see Mad Hatters going first, and they need to get a quick cap. What do you think, Pap, they have to do to just get this cap quickly? Because we've seen them do a really slow push.
Really slow push, but you honestly though, Kawaii can get a nano in a minute and 30 seconds. I think you either go 2 fights really quickly and hope for the best, or you play it nice and slow, get the ultimates up, and then push in. Both equally work. It just depends on how willing you are to be aggressive with your Monkey and Diva dive. Otherwise, it's probably best just kind of just stay it safe, see if you can get some picks, and then nano the Winston.
Yeah, building up a quick nano would be really good, but taking out beaters quickly is even better. And there is no way I think Athena could get that. Sorry, Athena. There is no way to get a res for Valhalla right now, and Richter now just burning through anyone who's trying to take this fight. And they got the cap nice and quick. There's a little bit of stall. They're probably going to give them 2 ticks, but oh no, with Waifu gone, I don't know if they're going to be able to stall it out. I mean, Apple is trying, but Apple's so low.
Yeah, I doubt it. I mean, look, this is time burnt off, so, you know, you want to, in this case, you kind of just want to throw bodies, get it to overtime, because as soon as they step off the cart, the overtime will just go down like that. So this is winnable, definitely, for Valhalla. 30 seconds remaining, and you practically have to have players on the cart now. As it rolls out, even time gets reduced there. No one's on it, but that's okay. You don't really need, at the moment, 20 seconds remaining, though. You will have to have someone on cart, and with these kind of players, they'll just dive on it and destroy them. But Richter taking out beats, that's not helpful at all for your Valhalla. You need that person in the sky blasting them away.
Absolutely. Richter now really putting in a lot of work for Mad Hatters. We do see A200 try to go harass Kawaii 5-0 on point, but fortunately Mad Hatters all heard the call to come back and help, and they managed to do it. Pinecone charging up onto the high ground to meet Julian, and a beautiful pulse bomb by Rory onto Apple. The duplication as well by Richter. Richter working so hard to get this win here, and Rory now putting in the work as well. Out comes the self-destruct. Duplication takes out Julian during their self-destruct. Richter does finally fall, and now it is just White Hammer trying to make that stall happen. But the res onto Kawaii 5-0. Arctic does fall from the Tracer, but this is pretty risky, Pap.
Yeah, A200 is trying their absolute best, but now I think you just got to regroup. You have the time before the second point gets capped. Although A200, they didn't kill him. He's still alive. He's still destroying the backline. No, nothing came out of that bomb either. He's still just tearing them up. I think the cart's going to stop here.
Well, we do see Athena try to stall it out, but I think you're right. That is where the cart's going to stop. But it is a solid push, no matter what.
Honestly, just capping Blizzard World sometimes is enough. But we did see Valhalla, their first push was pretty intense, so they will, Mad Hatters will have to have a think about how they're going to hold them. A little bit better than they did on the defense. It was quite rough, but they've seen how each other like to play the Blizzard World, and the Echo coming out from Richter has been really, really good, especially with that Mercy damage boost from Athena. But I can't give enough credit to A200. Did a fantastic job in the backline, taking out 3 members of the team, and were just able to single-handedly claw back what looked like a pretty staggered fight, actually.
Yeah, oh, absolutely right. They managed to put in a lot of work, but I mean, Mad Hatters, they did push it quite a distance. With 2
kinda
minutes
did.
39, I think Valhalla still have a pretty solid chance, but definitely Mad Hatters, if they play it right, if they do the right moves, they should be able to keep this alive.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, if you can win as Mad Hatters the first engagement, that's at least 30 seconds burnt off the time because it's all about getting that minute back that unfortunately Valhalla has gained on you. So, yeah, it's all about this first fight here. How will it go? Which way will the ultimate charge will stand? First off, Julian will go on the ball like he was on the attack first off, and then Whitehammer onto the Sigma as Beats will be on the Ash.
Yeah, and Beatus on this Ash has been devastating, so this could be the exact right play, especially having the Wrecking Ball and A200 just go up and harass some of the tanks to make sure that Beatus can get onto a flank and just find 1 or 2 pickoffs. That's exactly what they need right now. Beatus looking up at Athena, the Brig on the high ground, trying to get value there. Doesn't manage to find it, and Rory actually taking out A200. That can make it really hard now for this push by Valhalla, and they might have to call the full back here.
I think you kind of do, especially because Julian's just trying their best to get the health back after it getting burnt down by focusing beam. You can kind of just stay nice and safe here, Mad Hatters. They don't have to push, and now that minute has been lost, but ultimate charges have been gained here. Rory has the pulse bomb, looking to get it in the back.
And out comes a Nano though onto Arctic Wolf, and Arctic Wolf manages to take out Not Your Wolfie with the help of Pinecone. However, Apple and Beatus now putting in some work. The kills are going both ways, but Attack are going to value this as they can start to get aggressive onto point, and I like that Mad Hatters aren't taking this right now.
Yeah, I think it's worth just waiting. You've got 1 minute and 10 seconds to stop it, and really it takes one good stop once the payload's just traveled a little bit to be able to hold it quite convincingly, especially because they're coming up with, you know, bomb. They've got bomb, they've also got primal here, but they will be taking the high ground very quickly because the Arctic Wolf just gets burnt down. Julian, though, they do make a bit of a trade with main tanks, so it's still possible to hold this, but it is really hard for the defense now, losing that Winston, losing the engagement tool.
Yeah, they know they can wait it out though. They know they can wait for Arctic Wolf to come back, and now he's ready up and running. Richter trying to find some value with some sticky bombs there. This payload is now rolling, and with 30 seconds left, these ultimates that come out need to be perfect, especially from Pinecone. Pinecone is sort of that key player right now. Out comes the self-destruct, connects onto Apple. That's a good start. Rory now finds the other support. No support on the table for Valhalla. Rory takes out Beatus, and that's almost a complete wipe. Wrecking Ball trying to desperately just stay alive so they can get that last second touch, get the overtime coming out. A200 and Julian just looking at it now. Can they do it? A200 does get the touch. Transcendence coming back from Apple, and a minefield as well is gonna mess people up, but Richter pops out some sticky bombs to make the rally from Not Your Wife who get no value. Bob gets thrown onto the court, but gets moved away by the whip shot. A200 is all that is left, and now Beatus, I don't know if you can touch, and Mad Hatters do manage to get it.
Well played, Mad Hatters. Yeah, a very uphill battle there. You had to burn an extra minute off, but you did it successfully. In fact, you still had a couple of ultimates to fall back on. I think Richter played an exceptional Echo game, to be honest. They were always up in the sky, always diving around with the Winston here. Was this good? Oh no, must have just gotten a couple of picks. I was about to say, where's the bomb? Usually you used to like the Diva big bomb, but no, just great picks. Yeah, so GG's Mad Hatter, especially after taking it to the 4th round and getting, you know, almost the cart not stopping on Valhalla's first attack. Also, you won't be able to see my camera because, you know, I want to stay. Don't take me away.
We don't want to lose you again, Pat. It becomes very awkward.
I know.
But now we're in a situation, Pat, where Valhalla have to reverse sweep if they want this. They have to choose the maps perfectly, make the plays perfectly. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I'm about to pull. Oh no, actually, I forgot. I exited all my tabs. So I think the next matches are Dorado and is
Or
it
Havana.
Havana? That's correct. Okay, so here, have we seen much Widow? We've seen a little bit of Hanzo. Because I'm just thinking, Havana is quite a snipey map because especially on first point you got those really long sight lines. So you know you can put a Widow, put a Hanzo, even put an Ana. Like Ana's actually quite good in Havana. I do enjoy my Ana. And then get your dive tanks up on the high ground if you're defense, of course, and then just be able to sort of cycle of who's kind of touching the cart, who's just doing a little bit of damage, tickle, 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 and then do like a full engagement once it gets to sort of that corner point. It's where just before you get to the big courtyard area where most carts do tend to stop. But I mean, look, we could just see a Ryan off. There's no reason not to just go Ryan v Ryan and just see who wins the German hammer duel.
I think that's what Valhalla are trying to push. I think, like, realistically, Mad Hatters seem to love that Winston. And I think that's why they didn't choose Hollywood, because Arctic Wolf is scary on the Winston here. So I feel like if they choose Dorado, it could be a bit of a misplay, in my opinion, because Dorado once again does favor that Winston. I think they do have to choose Havana here, even though once again Havana is still okay for Winston.
Map will be Dorado. There we go.
Okay.
Map apparently will be Dorado. So they're confident in their Winston play because I do agree with you completely. Like Mad Hatters, Arctic Wolf, and working with Kawaii have been doing exceptionally well, just playing together, keeping in the line of sight of each other, the nanos. And I just want to go back as well to the Fire Lap comparison. They get destroyed on the first push. And then yet they're able to come back and take it just like they did in Ilios. So they've got clearly a very good mental game to be able to stay in it when, you know, the cart barely stops or you're not really able to use many ultimates. So props to Mad Hatters, but yeah, Valhalla might have a bit of a strat, maybe to pull out the sim like Gat's team did, get onto the high ground quickly, although we haven't really seen it much. It's maybe you get Julian back on the ball, perhaps. I am confused, just like you, why you wouldn't just want to go a Havana map where it's not as divey. Maybe the second point you can kind of argue is. But yeah, Dorado, it's kind of like take the high ground, jump up. We saw where the Torbjorn turret was before. What was that voice break? My goodness. Anyway, and Gat's team, Jokers were just absolutely everywhere on every building, and who knows, Mad Hatters could do the exact same thing, especially with Richter on the Echo that have been doing really, really well so far, especially with the Mercy play. So it's but maybe Valhalla, they're confident in their play. Maybe they've got a plan that we're just not quite ready for, quite sure of.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see why they chose Dorado. They seem to think that maybe something Wrecking Ball Sigma might work. They do like a little bit of the Julian Wrecking Ball. So maybe that's where their mindset is, get that displacement onto the tanks. But when you're running Winston Diva, there's not a lot of displacement that Wrecking Ball can do. I'm a little bit bewildered. Maybe they do think they can just sort of death ball their way on payload and just make a payload the best sort of weapon possible.
Yeah, or we see Bastion ?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we see the what was it called? Pirate ship, right?
Pirate ship, yeah.
I've not seen a pirate ship in a hot while. And look, I wouldn't recommend, since both teams have been really good at their dives and they're both playing really good divas, the off tanks of Pinecone and Julian. So I'm not really sure if it would be worth it, especially with Dorado in the high buildings. Bastion, you want to kind of be facing forward. Like the best example is Junkertown, where you're just looking straight forward and you're just able to shoot. Whereas Dorado, and especially when you're playing dive, they can just come out of nowhere. You can get a 76 on the high ground poking you away. You can get a Winston and a Diva diving on you. And it's just a little bit too much. But yes, I do doubt the Bastion as we're rolling into Dorado. Although I wouldn't say no to it, Aparo.
Yeah, exactly right. It could be a little bit of fun cheese. Any lactose intolerant people, if we see the Bastion come out, you watch out. It's going to be a cheesy map, but Opting for double bubble. Okay.
Okay. All right. I don't mind this. Opting for double bubble on the attack. So that means that White Hammer won't have to be as careful diving in with BTs and A200. Sorry. They'll be able to go a lot more aggressive, although they won't have Julian sort of just backing up the Winston with a little bit more damage, because White Hammer will be on the high ground, whereas Julian will be on the low ground. As I say that, they will be switching that up. 76 though from Richter on the high ground. We saw how brutal that was last time, just putting a 76 on the high ground, and then Rory on the great pick of Tracer on the yellow building, just ready to jump down onto the Widow, who just used grapple. Close shot though.
Rory just watched the grapple shot, was like, oh yeah, there's a Widow grappling, whatever. But Julian taking out Kawaii 05 quickly. However, there's that dive we were talking about. There's that dive, that beautiful dive by the tanks. That shut down that fight perfectly.
They traded backlines, but the better backline was Mad Hatters, just because you had that brig to be able to stay alive a little bit more. And there was only really 2 people from Valhalla trying to attack the high ground, whereas everyone from Mad Hatters, even Richter, was having a go at shooting from the high ground there and just burnt down both supports very, very quickly.
Sleepy Monkey on the point. Rory coming in to try help Arctic out, and now Waifu is actually taking a lot of damage, and yeah, not your Waifu taking that again. Beatus did take out the soldier, but this team, they need to keep their backline alive. They need to be able to keep Apple and Waifu up and running right now. With Valhalla, they're really going to struggle, and this is where what I was nervous about that Dorado pick. Pinecone and Arctic, they can just keep getting back up.
Yeah, and just dive and dive and dive again. I mean, now the cart's in a prime spot to just drop down nicely. Just ask, hey, how's the backline doing? You know, just double checking, you know. But here comes the trading backlines again. Anna and Mercy are down either side.
Yeah, these Winstons putting in work right now, but it looks like Mad Hatters are going to get a little bit more value as Arctic takes out Beatus. Julian did eat the pulse bomb. Julian's a little bit hungry for those ultimates right now, but that payload stopped again.
Clearly not lactose intolerant. Richter though, he falls with he had attack visor as well, but Pinecone does take out White Hammer, instantly res, and now you can kind of push forward. You have so many ults of Valhalla too, and there's quite a number of staggered picks as the Ana of Kawaii just kind of gets destroyed by the Tracer, and White Hammer just diving in.
Yeah, White Hammer just going in to finish off the kills. Now it's just Rory really just trying to stall it out, get that stagger. But this payload is just going to continue along, pushing. Rory falls. I don't think it's a smart call to defend this.
Oh no, you just back up, wait for Rory. They'll be back pretty quickly as Tracers usually are. Do you go for the nano attack visor though? I would. The only issue you have is Julian, of course, just eating it all up and getting overwhelmed with the dive. But I reckon you're actually safe enough to be able to pull it off, especially taking out BTs. Maybe you don't even need it.
Yeah, with just that first pick, that could be exactly what you need to just start playing high ground again and slow down this payload. Exactly what we're seeing. Pinecone just playing on the payload. Sleep trying to come out by Not Your Waifu. I like the positioning from Ana. Being able to heal up the team without getting too much damage. And out comes the self-destruct. Rally by Athena. They're going to start getting aggressive and drop down. Pinecone goes down. Out comes the attack visor. Finds Not Your Waifu. And that's all you need. A pulse bomb as well. Taking out Apple. No more supports means that the rest of this team is collapsing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we really got to point this out, but Mad Hatters had all 6 ultimates there. So you'd hope they got the defense, and the defense they did receive. There's a little bit of a res on A200. Don't really know if it's worth it or not. You now have that 30-second cooldown despite them about to res, but now the tables have kind of flipped. Valhalla now have more ultimates, especially with oh my gosh, the Echo ultimate with this duplicate. There you go, nailed it. First time.
Well done. Now onto Arctic Wolf, who's primal raging as well. Gets slapped, and the anti-nade Arctic could not live that.
No.
But still, the payload fight is still in favor of Mad Hatters right now, as Valhalla are just sort of slowly trying to do anything. But that whip shot, Pap.
I know, that's taking down 0200, and now, although the Nano does come out though, however, White haven't been able to just burn down a lot of the members, especially Anti-Name. He's still going in. He's not stopping. That's 2 picks again into the favor of Valhalla, and they'll be able to hold a really good position.
Now, with that Primal Rage just getting so aggressive, pushing them all the way back to spawn, this payload is now going to continue pushing on for Valhalla. We do see Mad Hatters just calling the regroup. I like to see that. They've got a couple of ults that they can utilize here. Out comes the self-destruct. It doesn't connect onto too much, unfortunately. Soldier trying to find some value on their high ground, but the duplicate from Beatus is going to make it really hard as there are now 2 divas who can fly up into your face, and that is going to lead to a couple of kills for Valhalla. Make it really difficult, and then Pinecone burning through Not Your Wife with this pulse bomb doesn't get enough value, and this payload is now finally going to slowly push through that second point with just Pinecone trying. We might see Rory come in for a little bit of time bank stall as well, but that is going to be the cap.
Yeah, there was a couple of good stops there from Mad Hatters, but we still have that 2-minute and 40-second time bank to fight. Athena falling really quickly there, same as Rory. Kawaii as well. The BTs on the high ground just absolutely destroying them, and now they have to hard regroup, whereas they kind of just wanted to softly, you know, oh, we're all in this together. But now you gotta wait for your Ana, who does have Nano though for Valhalla, and also for Mad Hatters, so expect the double Nanoed Winston.
Yeah, it's pretty. Oh, what a good eat! Pulse bomb taken out by Pinecone. Pinecone and Julian are actually doing so well on these divas, eating up so many ultimates. This is why they're Div 3 right here, but Rory putting in the work, taking out that back line, and that's going to be a payload stock just around the bend of third point.
Yeah, this is the perfect place, especially when you dive, to hold it at that bridge so you can softly dive just like they did in first point. You've got that bridge control very easily. In fact, when you're up there, they can't actually push it past that point. You're technically contesting there. I think that's a really, really crucial spot to stop it. Now you've got Rory. Pulse bomb again. He's building these so quickly. Though, on the other side, they'd have both tank ults. Julian might bomb as they engage this fight. There's a massive... They'll push this really hard. At forced to pop Primal and Nano at the same time. Whitehammer.
Yeah, Beatus gets the kill onto Kawaii up on the high ground, and Beatus now managing to also take out Athena. Losing both supports is going to make it pretty rough, but we do see Waifu fall on the other side with the Primal Rage from Arctic Wolf just stalling out this payload. That could be enough to make sure that that time bank just slowly disappears. Rory tries to get a couple more kills, finds Apple, but not too much more right now. Just constantly trying to touch this payload so it doesn't go any further. Julian has, however, popped that self-destruct inside a wee little bubble and hallway. Not too much value there, and Richter's duplicate is doing a bit of work now, popping on that Primal, and that push is once again defended.
Yeah, Rory falling a little late there, but I think they'll get back in time as there's still a couple of respawns like the Diva and McCree coming back. Actually, talking about that, we've gone McCree. No more Tracer. Yeah. A200 has gone to Cree. A little bit more defensive, protect that back line a touch more, and kill Richter. Sorry.
What a devastating first kill if you're Mad Hatters right now. Self-destruct has to come out, but can't find anything. Arctic Wolf tries to get in aggressive, but that McCree choice means that Arctic Wolf is going to get stunned. No one's touching the payload, though. The fights were happening all around and nobody touched.
Valhalla got a little bit too, oh my gosh, there is a term for it, but they really wanted the picks onto the support so badly that, yeah, 4 of them went up against the Brig and the Ana, Athena and Kawaii somehow staying alive throughout and that's why you take the Brig. It bought enough time for the unfortunate C9. I would call that a C9. I know that term's a bit overused, but they definitely had the option to touch there. That was very, very unfortunate. Now it's the ball is in Mad Hatter's court. How will they attack this point? Apara, will Rory go back on that Tracer, which is getting so much value out of? A200 will also go on the Tracer again, and double Echo. It's a complete Echo comp. in fact.
Would you almost call it a duplicate?
Oh my gosh, you're so smart.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
It's gotta
gosh.
be- yeah, that mirror matchup on comps, that looks really good. I like when mirror matches come up because it means that all the players are really confident in what they're able to run and being able to just take it a little bit better than the enemy team.
Yeah.
I think this first point here is going to be that critical maker of whether Valhalla are going to be able to stand a chance or not, whether they can match up to what Mad Hatters were bringing.
Yeah, I mean, they got to watch and learn how Mad Hatters do it, so I wonder if they'll sort of replicate the same sort of thing. It seems like it. Trace is starting exactly where Rory did before, and yeah, exactly. They'll just want to stop the cart here, but I don't think Mad Hatters will do the same sort of dives onto the Ana. They'll just be looking for the poke, looking to build their own nano very quickly.
They made that call of we protect our backline, and even with Whitehammer taking out Kawaii 05, Kawaii comes back a lot quicker than Beatus does, and Beatus has been taken out by that focusing beam. Now we see a really good dive up onto the high ground, pushing Whitehammer down. A200 tries to put a bit of damage into Arctic Wolf, does manage to find Athena to stay alive, and now they're just going to start sort of just normalizing on payload. Nowhere near as bad as what it looked like for Valhalla.
No, exactly. There's a little bit of a soft dive onto the high ground, although it just gets absolutely burned down by Apple. I don't think that's the play, and now it will get stopped at the really hard choke as the rest of the team just all around. Mad Hatters, they'll have to have a think about how they're going to approach the next fight, especially with Not Your Waifu. It has got Nano now that will fall onto Whitehammer, but Whitehammer and Apple fall really late into that fight. You've got the spawns, and they're taking advantage. It's flipped, Apara. Now it's all in favor of Mad Hatters.
They managed to get a couple of late picks, and that's perfect. It's almost like nothing happened. They just went back to spawn for a couple of seconds, and now they're pushing Valhalla all the way back. That was not what I expected to see, and this payload is almost rolling through. They will try and go get the touch, and Whitehammer getting slept on that point. Rally comes out by Athena, but a good pulse bomb means Beatus isn't flying in the sky anymore. Self-destruct thrown up into the air.
Oh my gosh, what a
Bit too
bubble.
high to connect into anyone, and yeah, a really good bubble to also shut it down. Pulse bomb is going to get Rory out of this match, and another self-destruct, not really connecting onto too much, but the numbers are starting to go in the favor of Valhalla as they do manage to get a last-minute hold.
Yeah, this is where now the spawns of Valhalla kind of take into effect. It's about even Stevens now. They also Valhalla had almost every ultimate as well at their disposal, and they used quite a few. Mad Hatters, they'll be coming back with Rally to keep everybody alive, and Richter will have the duplicate. They've been getting so much value off it, either if it's on the monkey, but I think it might be good to get Julian's self-destructs. I think this could be good.
Out comes a nano onto Whitehammer. Whitehammer getting aggressive onto those supports, but Rory does manage to find a couple of kills as well. The kills are a bit back and forth, and once again, I think this is probably going to start favoring the attacking team as they can start to come back a little bit quicker. Duplicate by Richter does mean that they're going to just start displacing a lot of people on the primal, but Whitehammer's going to pop his own as well, really throwing the supports awry right now. And that's a good couple of kills by Whitehammer. Valhalla, they want to bring the reverse sweep.
They do. 50 seconds remaining on the clock. It's a bit of a head scratcher now. If you were Mad Hatters, how do we push this with almost zero ults? They put everything into that fight. Now Beatus has the duplicate themselves, and we've seen that they've gone for the Diva multiple times. So we'll probably see a couple of self-destructs. And yeah, that's pretty much it. A200 will be trying to get the pulse bomb as quickly as possible. It's all down to this fight right here. Bomb comes out, doesn't get anyone.
Primal as well popped on, but Whitehammer's getting the kills. No more supports for Mad Hatters, and when their dives used to look so good, it looks like Valhalla did a little bit of learning and learned how to dive themselves. They decided to make that mirror matchup, and it's looking like they're taking the value from it. Beatus now taking out Pinecone with a really good punch, and all that's left is Richter and Rory to try and get a little bit of stall on this payload, but nothing's going to come through as Rory just desperately trying to get those overtime touches just so the overtime doesn't burn away. But the kills are good, and that is going to be Dorado going the way of Valhalla.
Well played. Reverse sweep question mark? We're at 2-1 now. Well played, Valhalla. They cycled their ults exceptionally well, and even when they didn't have ultimates, the rest of their team just played really well around that column. You had, the Ana just kind of do circles around the tank lineup of Mad Hatters, and they couldn't nail them down, and because of that, kept the team alive. Beautiful primal rages from both sides, actually, and yeah, it's been such a wonderfully close matchup. But the defense of Valhalla was just a little bit too strong for Mad Hatters to handle.
Yeah, what a way to manage to take what Mad Hatters seems to have perfected and then just completely take them down at their own game. I love it when teams learn playstyles, learn comps, and start to really put in the work to take them down. That's going to put a lot of mental pressure on Mad Hatters. What they're usually confident in, Valhalla are now showing, actually, we can mirror match you and beat you at your own game. And I tried to make the comment a little bit at the start of that map where if they can match how that first defense was, they're gonna stay in this. But if they weren't able to, they wouldn't. But they didn't just match it; they beat it.
Yeah, they beat them at Mad Hatter's own game, and that's really tough if you're Mad Hatters to be mentally boomed like that. But we have seen them come back, like Ilio's 99% to 0, somehow clawing that back. We will be going into Volsky Industries, which we were question marking over Dorado, but Anubis is a little bit more dive friendly perhaps, but I mean, I can definitely eat my own words. You can have that Winston Diva sort of just sitting above that point on the little house. You can have your Ana and Brig nice and safe by that Mega if you're defending, and then if you're attacking, it's kind of just like try your best, build up Nano slowly, let's say, build up that Primal Rage and attack with ultimates. It's very hard to dry fight when you're attacking on this map, especially first point, let alone getting to second point where you can sort of dive from at least different angles this time around. But again, we could just see the Reinhardt matchups, but we're seeing so much Winston dive at the moment. Apara, I just can't see that happening.
Yeah, it seems like Winston is, especially for Mad Hatters, what they're confident in. Mad Hatters are really showing us that they love the Winston. It'll be interesting to see whether Whitehammer and Julian opt to now match them on their own comp, or whether they do play an off comp like they've liked to. They've liked to try Julian on the Wrecking Ball. They've liked to put Whitehammer on Sigma. I don't think we've seen a Reinhardt yet, but they've got the Reinhardt icon, so...
Yeah, exactly. No Reinhardt stuff, Ryan. All my homies hate Reinhardt. Apparently, anyway. Julian might be going hog, but again, that is the attacking team. Let's focus on the defending team of Mad Hatters will be the first up. Rory taking up that Tracer, and Richter, really, they're favoring the Echo quite a bit now. Then Kwai and Athena will be staying together forever in the backline, keeping the rest of the team alive. If they do stick to this comp, Apara, Valhalla, they have very bizarre, quite high damage, but at the same time, divey hybrid. It's a bit bizarre.
Yeah. Oh. Well, Julian is actually going to opt for the Diva.
There we go.
Not wanting to run that Roadhog. I respect the Roadhog and Spawn. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, it's quite a brawly one, to be honest, because you have that Reaper for the close range damage, so you won't expect. Oh, that's brutal on Rory. That's like a triple headshot to take them down pretty much immediately here, Apara. Now you can take the high ground extremely easily if you're Valhalla and attack whenever you want.
Yeah, and they're going straight onto point. Whitehammer does get slapped on the jump, but Julian comes up to support and keep them up, and that means that both supports are going to get ripped off of this point here after Wolf now finished off, and that is going to be a really quick cap with a little bit of potential misplay with Apple taking out Rory early.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate misplay from Rory there, getting taken out. Yeah, like so quickly, and BTs as well on the Reaper made it work despite the dive. So they're playing quite a sort of brawly style dive. Interesting that they're not going for the Zarya if they're going that brawl dive hybrid, but it's working for them. And now A200 almost has the Oh my gosh, the EMP, my brain, it's midnight now. And also a pause. Here we go.
Oh no, not a DC on Pinecone. Not when they're starting to aggress onto this point. Oh, this is so devastating.
Oh, shit. Oh no.
I also
Oh,
really like how Valhalla was the one who claimed they have the bad internet, but Pinecone is the one that doesn't want to stay in a match for longer than 30 seconds.
I honestly, has Valhalla had a DC? I don't want to jinx it, but have
I
they?
think Whitehammer has. Whitehammer DC'd
Whitehammer
on the
has, that's
very
right.
first map.
That's right. That was them. But other than that, it's been all Pinecone, I think, and me.
Yeah.
But you know, let's
Yeah.
look past that. I think in total we've had 6 DCs. So whoever's in the 6 to 10 range, they're winning so far in chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's gonna be Mad Hatters. Honestly, it's gonna be super hard. You've barely got any ultimates defending here, whereas Valhalla have everything in their back pocket, especially with A200. With that EMP, which was what I was trying to say the entire gosh darn time. Now we'll come in with Coalescence as well, as it's getting ever so close. Although Whitehammer is hacked, so they won't be able to push in as much as they want to. But with basically a player down and ultimates going completely resetting, it's going to be very, very hard. But we've seen it happen before on Oasis, didn't we?
Yeah, oh, exactly right. I mean, we've seen Mad Hatters really know how to do those last-minute clutches, and we could just see it come through here because spawn is so close. Pinecone won't be far away, but the EMP comes out, connects onto 5 because Pinecone was respawning. It's not going to get too much more. We do see a Coalescence come out, but gets hacked midway by Richter. Pinecone burns through A200, however, and that could be good for this Mad Hatter defense. Pinecone coming through at the last second does get demexed, and now it's just tanks and Apple putting in the work. Rory's coming back, but this is the 2CP curse. The defensive team are able to come back so quickly. Yeah, I don't think even a tech's gonna come through.
Well, Reaper's back though. Maybe you can get enough damage in, but Whitehammer falling to Lucio, and Rory also taking out A200. It's curtains now. And that was their chance. I'm not going to lie. That was Valhalla's chance to take. That was very unfortunate for Not Your Wife to get hacked out of Coalescence there, especially after doing so much damage. Really well played by Mad Hatters, not even allowing a tick despite the amount of damage coming through. Rory was doing a fantastic job of spalling, just holding that point. Stalling, spalling, that'll do. Holding the point for as long as possible. And now, Richter, they have an EMP of their own.
Yeah, Richter pops the EMP in behind and gives it an opportunity for Kawaii 5-0 to take out their counterpart. There's a little attempt at a back cap by A200, but with all of the rest of your team getting killed, I don't think it's going to matter.
No, it's not going to matter. Now you can push up here, get those couple of staggers if you can here and there. Valhalla only really having tank ultimates to fall back on here, whereas, you know, you've still got the Coalescence to keep the team alive, as well as both tank ults from Mad Hatter. So it's which bomb is bigger, question mark, because you have no EMP to really work it in with. So it's all up to the positioning of the bomb.
Coalescence comes out but gets taken out very quickly. Kawaii 5-0 got dived so painfully. Self-destruct doesn't connect onto anyone, but Julian does finish off Pinecone during the self-destruct, which means they can't remake. Athena taking out Beatus, and it's just going to make it really hard for this attack, especially when a sound barrier is going to make it that no more damage is going to come onto Mad Hatters right now.
My God.
See a really good EMP come out. Athena now with the legs broken gets taken down by Apple, and Whitehammer popping a little bit of a Primal Rage is going to take out the other support here. Pinecone is going to be all that's left, just trying to stall it out up on that high ground, going to look for a last minute touch. But we do actually see Whitehammer find them. Now the rest of the team is coming back. Pinecone gets hacked instantly. Sound barrier comes out and a dance as Peterson 2, really removing them off the point. Coalescence even is going to make it really hard for people to touch as they do get burnt down, and that's going to be 2 minutes 48 on the board.
Yeah, it just proves how fast they took first point, right? When they even after what seems like a pretty good defense from Mad Hatters, there's still that 3 minutes. No. It does actually get pushed down because of the new sort of two CP rules. So it's always under 3, so we don't cry ourselves to sleep tonight. Apara.
Exactly right.
Full Sky Industries. Why did it have to be Full Sky Industries? Yeah, we will have now Mad Hatters on the attack and Valhalla on the defense. Probably see pretty much the same sort of style. Lots of Sombra this map. It seems that that's been practiced and scrimmed pretty much consistently here, and it's been down to not just the hacks, but also which EMPs have come out faster. And so far, A200 has actually lapped Richter at one point, so they're doing an exceptionally good job of just getting that enough damage in. But now that A200 is defending, I wonder if it's just a little bit harder or maybe even easier for them to build up that EMP fast. But yeah, it's exactly the same, although Rory is on the Reaper at copying BT's. Really liked being able to just go in with the dive and pump in as much damage as BT's did on their attack.
Yeah, I think Valhalla are smart on going on this mirror match again, feeling like they know what's going on and how to play it. And I like how they do want to take those mirror matches. They're confident in their ability to take it on. Whitehammer waiting around a corner, doesn't really find anyone to burn down, but now has spotted Athena, and Kawaii 5-0 falls so quickly. What a wonderful dive you see, just perfectly coordinated to just find the Moira, take them out, and now anyone who's remaining is just going to get burnt through. Richter has to run away.
Yeah, Richter will be running away. They will be trying to spot him. You've got Julian up on the high ground just shooting away, trying their best. Richter though opting to just go back to the team, which is interesting. I thought you want to put that translocator in the back, so then you don't have to run from that. Yeah, that's why Richter getting taken out. That's not good. That's not what you want.
Yeah, Richter being removed from this fight is going to make it really hard for Mad Hatters to try and find value. Removing the hacks from Mad Hatters just means that it's not going to disable anyone. Primal Rage comes out by Whitehammer, and Primal Rage in a little room is a really painful thing to feel. Coalescence comes out to try and keep the team alive, but that's not enough healing from being stuck in a corner with an angry monkey, and that's just going to be a runaway right there.
Yeah, and now you've got Not Your Waifu also has Coalescence. They'll be able to sort of re-engage if they need to against Mad Hatters when they next push in. You can see A200 already has EMP, whereas Richter's just sort of lacking behind at only 60%. In fact, they don't really have many ults, Mad Hatters. It's almost worth taking another Echo fight, seeing if you can seeing if you can just get more of those ultimates for Mad Hatters as a 5-man EMP. It's massive.
What a huge EMP! And that's going to lead Beatus to do a Death Blossom. It only takes... Oh no, there's Arctic Wolf as well. I mean, wow! This has been such good coordination by Valhalla. They know exactly what they want to do. They know exactly how to execute it. I don't know what's going to stop them.
I mean, they're just going to have to get some really good ults, Mad Hatters. Rory has that Death Blossom now, but you're still waiting on Richter with that EMP taking... In fact, the Pinecone's bomb has come up before Richter's EMP, which is pretty rare, but A200, has fallen. That's the hack's gone. It's just winnable.
Yeah, Arctic Wolf jumps right over, straight onto point. They want this. Self-destruct comes out, connects onto Athena. Athena tried to pop the sound barrier, but didn't keep themselves alive. EMP comes out and a Death Blossom by Rory. They're throwing any and every ultimate out. They want this point. They know this is that desperation hour, and they need to get it going. Now it's just A200 to stall out just a little bit more time.
Yeah, they also got a nice 50% actually ult charge off that for the point B defense, should I say. Whitehammer also has the Primal Rage if need be. They don't really have much of a snowball potential, Mad Hatters. They don't have those sort of ultimates. They don't even have Coalescence just yet. So they're just going to have to wait, heal up the tanks, get that coal, and then maybe push in. But even then, watch out for those hacks.
Yeah, and this fight is really nice for Mad Hatters right now. They're able to pop that Primal Rage, but Apple does pop a sound barrier. Primal Rage throws White Hammer off, and that's where it's really nice. Because of the Primal Rage, you can throw people off that corner, so you got to be happy if you're Mad Hatters about that. We do see Julian get hacked, but doesn't take enough damage to get Demic just yet. Beatus and Apple have fallen, however, and with A200 now being removed, they can start taking that point presence. It's just going to be on White Hammer to stall here, Pat.
Yeah, this is it. This is Valhalla. White Hammer gone. Just absolutely hacked and just deleted at that point. EMP from 18 missiles about to come out surely right now with the bomb. 5-man. Can anybody escape this? Everybody can. Now he can just re-engage. Mad Hatters, they're going back in. So much damage. Coalescence as well, Apara.
Yeah, Coalescence is just coming out to make sure kills and support comes through. EMP by Richter is a little bit better, and a Death Blossom comes out too. Beatus trying to do the Death Blossom of their own, but a punch out from A200 means that Arctic's going to be removed now. This is so desperate for Valhalla as they try, and they do manage to get a bit of a better time bank, I guess.
Yeah, 10 seconds. 10 seconds is 10 seconds. Yeah, Valhalla get you know, the 11, it's actually 11 seconds, but 11 seconds just extra, I guess, but really it's not much. Maybe you get a couple more bodies thrown on the point. But I think that was really, really well played by Mad Hatters, especially because they had their backs to the wall in point A. They barely capped that with about a minute remaining, and then that one push, I said no snowball potential. Well, boy, did I eat my words, because despite A200 having the EMP a whole 50% before his counterpart had it, they weren't able to really use it effectively. Even when the EMP bomb came out, the bomb was kind of just a neutral, wasn't even flying, kind of pressed it, so it wasn't really going to mix anybody up. It didn't have that potential. And then, you know, the Death Blossom, I mean, we all saw what happened. It was just brutally eaten up and then just deleted as well. So the stalls weren't as great from Valhalla as we saw from Blizzard World, but it was still enough to get at least the up in terms of time bank.
Valhalla have to be feeling good right now, because on top of that, they did a really good first point defense. Like, they held first point really well. So I feel like right now Valhalla must feel confident that they can take Volskaya. And it's got to be really good coordination coming through by Mad Hatters, not letting them get hacked and not letting them get dived in this corner and constantly obliterated like they have been. They have to make this rotation quickly. They are managing to, and it seems like they're not able to meet them. Valhalla not able to meet them as quickly as they like to.
Yeah, I mean, they almost burnt down. There was a beautiful hack from A200, actually. They almost burnt down a Diva because of it. And now it's a bit of a fight for Valhalla to try and take the aggression, and it's worked. Arctic Wolf has been taken down, same as Rory.
Beatus getting 2 kills on the board, that's going to make it really hard right now for Mad Hatters, and you just all want to die. Richter, you want to fall back, you don't want to take this fight anymore, there's no value in it here.
Yeah, and you can see Richter only 30% EMP, whereas A200 has it, and that is just brutal, especially when Kawaii just wants to Coalescence for free, which will not happen against an EMP, surely, right? And especially with Richter falling, that is not what you want at all. They've still got 50 seconds. I think you're just going to have to wait here. Maybe it's even worth a switch, because you can't really build EMP that quickly, especially when the aggression is going to be as fast as it's going to have to be.
Yeah, they have to play this pixel perfectly at this point. They cannot risk any sign of mess up here. Beatus trying to pump in a lot of damage, and that dive is really good. Out comes the EMP by A200, and with a Death Blossom and a Coalescence, you can't match that kind of ultimate. This is going to give Valhalla exactly what they want, that one tick sort of time bank. That's all they need to get. Pinecone being staggered as well. Risky call, but they do get the kill. I don't know if anyone... I think Lucio can get a touch. Athena...
They've got Richter. They got Sombra.
Yeah, they do manage to get a touch. Arctic falls quickly. Beatus. Sound barrier comes out, but it is... There's just nothing to do here.
Oh!
Death Blossom EMP. Not even that.
Not even that. Oh, he actually just got... Rory just got through top of the cliff.
Yeah.
The EMP just came too late. I think everybody knows, but the EMP just came so late. Same as all the ultimates, to be honest. Mad Hatters just couldn't build the ultimates as quickly as Valhalla had, and that's purely because, you know, they had the defensive position. You can just make it work like that, where you just poke the attacking team, build those ultimates just a touch faster, and because of that, they only need, like you said, a tick to get this point, and for the reverse sweep to not just be a potential, but actually, you know, it's just high likelihood at this point with Valhalla, or the mental game is strong with this one.
Yeah, they've really clicked on right now, and it's Mad Hatter's game to lose. It's 100%
Honestly,
Mad
yeah,
Hatter's game to
honestly.
lose.
Yeah, I think they thought they had it in the bag, and then now they've been shaken up, especially by their own game of dive. Yeah, exactly the same comps will be running out. A200 has been a spectacular Sombra, so there was honestly, they just need the EMP and then they can win this, because all of A200s have landed on at least 5 people. So it's up to Richter to see if they can try and match that, but it's been a clear Sombra EMP difference so far, Apara, and it's going to be quite an uphill battle. In fact, they will switch it up at the last second, go double Sky.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they realize that they can just pump in a lot of damage, get 1 or 2 picks, and then take it away. All they need is 1 tick. They can technically do something like this and just get a really good pick. The Diva's going to be pretty devastating, though, being able to eat up a lot of that damage, but Betis can now fly away from the dive, and that's really big. But unfortunately, not your wife, who's not going to get enough support here, and Pinecone is going to be able to fly into their face and start burning away at Apple as well. But Athena getting taken down. That's why you do the Farah pick. Losing that Lucio is going to be devastating for Mad Hatters right now.
Oh, definitely. Even though Lucio's a speedy character, the respawns from the attacking team is just going to be too much. You got A200 in the sky. The only thing that can really damage them is is a hack possibly, but mostly a defense matrix. That's just too much for the Diva to handle. Here comes the dive as well.
Yeah, and with that, Arctic Wolf falls, focusing beam, really painful onto Arctic Wolf. Pinecone's now demexed. This is not looking good for Mad Hatters at all. It's getting a bit mad. They're losing their hats, and White Hammer's just rolling over them right now. Kawaii 5-0, the last one to try and get any value, but with the Rocket Barrage to finish it off, that's where the Farah pick gets value.
Oh my gosh. It's been all 5 maps, both times. This has been insane. This has been crazy close the entire time, although we have the Valhalla possible reverse sweep in mind as we move into Oasis for our final showdown like we did last time. Apara, it could go either way, but at the moment it seems all in favor of Valhalla.
Yeah. We have to remember back, though, Mad Hatters did win our first control map of Ilios. They did it in pretty dominant fashion and as well. I don't know, I mean, even with their DCs, they managed to, essentially what it seemed like they did is they managed to just keep the stall really perfectly. Valhalla would cap point early, but then Mad Hatters would be able to take the point back and just constantly come back and stall and stall and stall. And so if they can do that system once again, I think it could be still a hard fight for Valhalla. However, they are now looking very confident on that dive.
Yeah, very confident. And BT's, and especially A200 as well. A200 wasn't actually around for Ilios. So, and we're seeing a little bit of a wider range of hero picks from Sombra to the Tracer, and then we even saw Farah there. So it could go either way, to be honest, with the mental game and a new player going into our last control map. But then at the other side, excuse me, like you said, Mad Hatters were looking stronger. But it's going to take quite a bit to fight back from having a two maps up on match and map point, but losing it and now losing the next game as well. It's going to be a little bit tough.
Yeah, I'm really impressed both sides, to be honest. Like Valhalla coming back with that potential reverse sweep. Mad Hatters putting on such a dominant performance at the start, and they're still making it difficult for Valhalla. They're not making it easy for them, that's for certain. So I think I think it's just I think it is anyone's game at this point. A200 coming in, that could be a big difference. It's just, I don't know. There's just so much potential both sides. I genuinely don't feel like I can make
It
a
honestly could go
prediction.
either way, and that's the most exciting thing. Both of the matches tonight, we've never known who might win. Like, Joker's looked down and out going into Oasis. We were guessing that, you know, the other team would win, but Jokers, they came back and they fought Gat with the beautiful Reinhardt plays. Could see exactly the same thing from